But, Pens, when you're on the radio and you're giving your opinion, you have to get the stats right. There's only one person that's got the most goals as a defender in Premier League history, and that's me. I also have the most clean sheets in Premier League history. And also, if you're comparing myself and Virgil, then I have more trophies than him as well. Also, you brought up a really good point. At the age of 34, 2014-15, I played every single minute of every game for Chelsea, winning the league in 2014-15 when Mourinho was our manager. So guys, this is over to you. I love the debate. I love being amongst it. I'm really proud of what I've done in the Premier League, but this is clearly over to you guys to settle the debate, but I'm just happy to be in and amongst it.
I mean, if you saw that, you'd see that. I mean, he could reply to that from his lounge.
Yeah.
He decided to reply to that
behind.
in his museum, and rightly so.
Right, of course, right.
The backdrop was fantastic. So we thought we'd settle this once and for all. We've picked 5 legendary centre-backs via a vote in the Drive Time group chat from earlier on. Well done, producer Joe, for doing this. They are John Terry, Virgil van Dijk, Rio Ferdinand, Emmanuel Vidic, and Vincent Kompany.
Who's your 5 that you voted for, or do you not want to say that?
I think it was probably them. Yeah, it must have been them, right? Because I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Sol Campbell, yep, Tony Adams, good centre half.
They're just above them.
Yep.
We've also picked out 6 attributes which make up the perfect defender. Each player will be given a mark out of 5 for each one, meaning a maximum of 30 points. The player with the highest mark will be crowned the greatest Premier League.
TalkSport Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, here are your sports headlines. Has Crystal Palace's greatest ever manager, Oliver Glasner, just waved the white flag?
I'm just not good enough to replace the players we sold. I'm just not good enough to integrate the new players in a way that we can play the same way like we did. And I'm not good enough that we can cope with the schedule we had.
That was in this morning's press conference. It's fair to say Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor have very little sympathy.
This is not the first time he's sort of gone to war with a hierarchy, and it probably won't be the last, and that's why he won't get a top job.
When you're going back and finding out records of Crystal Palace in the Premier League and how many points they've got at this stage, like, come on. It wouldn't surprise me, Sam Crookie, if you went round his house and his bags were already packed.
That's all after their 1-1 Conference League draw with Zrinjski, that defeat to Macclesfield, and 1 win in their last 15 games. We understand the club is considering Glasner's future. Martin O'Neill says there's no money to spend at Celtic, and that's why it's difficult to compete in Europe. The Hoops lost to Stuttgart at home, with fans chucking tennis balls onto the pitch in frustration at the board, but the boss is calling for patience.
In time, Celtic will be able to compete deep into European competitions. It's just that it's not there at this minute. That's fine.
At the Winter Games, the Ukraine team will boycott the opening ceremony of the Winter Paralympics in protest at the decision to allow Russian athletes to compete for their country. And as if Tottenham didn't need to catch any more strays, a Swedish politician has used the club as an analogy for the Sweden economy struggles, claiming that the government risks making Sweden Spursy. There's more at TalkSport.com.
TalkSport News.
Buckingham Palace faces a crisis after Andrew's arrest, and one of the co-founders of ASOS has died after falling from a balcony in Thailand. More from the news team at past.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. Whatever the winter weather, Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres, guaranteed for 25,000 miles. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
After a dry and cloudy start for many, rain spreading from Northern Ireland and Western Scotland to all areas by early afternoon, but feeling mild.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to what is actually Kelly and Jacobs today. I'm Danny Kelly, sitting in for Paul Hawksby, but of course, the essential ingredients of the brew remain in place because Andy Jacobs is with us. I must say, I keep forgetting that now that we're in vision and I'm sat on a chair, when that music comes on and I do my dancing, people can't see the brilliant moves I'm doing with my feet. So it appears like me dancing from the elbows out. And after a while, you start to look like the President of the United States of America. And nobody wants that.
I thought you were drumming, actually, but there we go.
Well, no, I was dancing, but it turns out to be that horrible dancing that himself does. Listen, thank you very, very much indeed for joining me and Andy. We've got a lot to get through today on the eve of an incredibly important and tense North London derby. We'll have some guests to talk about that, including the brilliant comedian Ian Stone. We'll look at the rugby. It's a whole lot of things we're going to do. And, of course, Friday means the Fools panel, and we've got a special Clips of the Week for you. I mean, in one way, I'm delighted because the show writes itself. In the other, I couldn't be more excited because it's going to be really good. Welcome one, welcome all. He's Andy Jacobs. I'm Danny Kelly. You're the listening millions. That's how local bylaws should be. Welcome along.
What an intro. Brilliant. Most people write these things down, but Danny doesn't. It's absolutely astonishing.
No, you can tell I like broadcasting, can't you? Yeah?
Well, how about
Hey,
those?
Andy.
Go on. Hi, Danny.
Oh, no.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for being with us. Those comments from Glasgow that we've just heard on the news, they're astonishing, aren't they? We should start with that. I mean, I can't believe it.
I wasn't sure that my colleagues there hit the right note, Gabby and Alex. I have some sympathy for him. He did, the greatest feat in Crystal Palace's history so far, and which supporter without skin in the game didn't warm to seeing the Palace fans after 100+ years winning something. And then, as is the way with club football, the team gets predated by so-called bigger clubs, certainly clubs with deeper pockets. I guess it is the way with modern managers that their press conferences, not only, Andy, are they about what's happening now, but they are press conferences over the head of everybody else towards their next employer, aren't they? And he's literally saying, look what I did there in May. And now, of course, I've had the team sold out from under me. What do you expect? And they're always kind of looking at their next job, even the most established manager.
He should have left, though, at the time, when he announced that he was leaving. Otherwise, it's always the same. You're just a horrible expression, but dead man walking. That's what you are, because,
I don't know whether it's any better expression, but you're a lame duck, aren't you? And nobody wants to see a duck limping about the place, do they?
Nobody does. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you've probably seen Michael Cody's Brentford, his brilliant long throw.
Yes, I have.
It's the best long throw in the league. It's got a different trajectory to everybody else. But he decided to do a gender reveal. I know he's become very...
Yes.
Have you seen this?
Yep.
He basically
I haven't seen that one.
He takes a throw on and it kind of explodes into whichever child it is. I can't remember. I think...
How lovely.
Girl or a boy is a good thing to say. It'll be one of those.
Yes, I must say I'm of a generation where, with all due, and neither is right nor wrong, and I'm not making any moral judgment here, somebody would announce that they were pregnant. The next thing you knew would be the father outside the labour ward with his cigar waiting for news. Now, I mean, because all my nieces and nephews are absolutely of the breeding age, and you get the gender reveal. Then you get the baby shower, whatever that is, but most frightening of all, the scans on WhatsApp. Out of the blue, you open your WhatsApp thinking it's going to be a brilliant meme of somebody, of a seal swallowing a fish sideways, and then suddenly there's a scan of a human being. I have not become habituated to the experience yet, Andy. I've got to be honest with you.
Okay, it's fair enough. And what else have we got here?
Let me just say that my head is still spinning.
Oh, yes, I know you want to talk about
Keely Hodgson last night. Last night, Keely Hodgson broke the world record in the indoor 800 metres for women. To say she broke it is to describe the Atlantic Ocean as moist. She obliterated it. Nearly a second. I mean, at the speed she's going there, that's 8 metres she's taken out. 1% the entire event in one race. It's first of all, as well, the beautiful story, isn't it? The previous holder was Yolanda Cheplak. She broke the record on the day that she set the record, the day Keely Hodgson was born 24 odd years ago. Incredible. She is a phenomenal, this girl, and I know in the recent World Championship she came third and people went, because of course they're not happy with just being Olympic champion and world record holder. But she was kind of back off. They shot on one leg. She'd had a hamstring injury for the previous 6 months. She really is astonishing. And if it wasn't for a woman called Faith Kipyegon, she would also be dominating the 1,500 metres. But Faith's been beaten, I think, once in 10 years. Sooner or later, time must catch up with the Kipyegon. But just amazing what Keely Hodgkinson's done. And I know fashions change, but the fact that athletics is now reduced really to YouTube and Eurosport.
It's kind of the Olympics, really. That's about it, and the World
Yes, it is. But it means that great athletes, and I include Keely Hodgkinson, that they're no longer. Although she was Sports Personality of the Year, wasn't she? So
that's because of the Olympics.
Yes, it is. That's exactly right. But what she did last night was amazing.
Did you see Gianni Infantino, who was he was in the States yesterday, and he's been talking about the ticket.
Well, see, he rarely goes to the United States, doesn't he? Very rare, yeah.
And with a hat he wore so bad. But he says, he said, we've received requests for over 500 million tickets for 7 million seats. Prices will go up. That's part of the market we're in. He says the demand is there. We keep some tickets for last-minute sales, but every match is sold out. I think that's Chinny Recon. Do you think that's true?
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for reviving the 1970s lingo of Chinny Recon. Yeah. That sounds like thinking of the wishful variety to me.
Absolutely.
I don't believe one word of that, to be frank. And maybe Mr. Infantino could reflect on the fact that we, pretty enthusiastic about the world normally, don't believe him anymore because everything he says has side or political aspect to it. And I don't trust him anymore to run the world game or to curate it with any degree of sympathy for the fans. And also, sorry, look, this thing about the pricing and the market, it's nonsense, isn't it? If you go into your local supermarket, Aldi, so other supermarkets are available, and there are 200 packets of your favourite pasta, they're priced at £2.99. Then when you get in there and there's only 6 left on the shelf, they're not 47 quid each, are they?
No, it's wrong.
That's what they're essentially saying,
no,
isn't
it?
It is nonsense.
Absolutely wrong.
Absolute nonsense. You set the price out for people, and then they can work out whether they can and are privileged enough or can't afford to go. You can't be shifting the prices around like this. I don't want to say it's an American thing. It's late capitalism.
Though. I mean, we've got a listener, Chris. He listens to the show from America, and he's bought tickets. He's bought tickets for the World Cup. I won't find his text to me somewhere. Here he is. And the prices, but he was quite happy to pay it. He says it's a one-off thing. It's a World Cup. And, here it is. 2 tickets for the game in Philadelphia, $360 each. He thinks that seems probably quite cheap. And 2 tickets for the New Jersey game, $500.
Total respect to our listener, Chris, and all our listeners. But, he's buying those because they're a one-off event. Man, has he ever been to a Sheffield derby? That'd be $3,000 for a ticket for the Sheffield derby, if we were going on that logic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Listen, I mean, we started off at a massive galloping pace here. I'm sure it'll slow down to a sort of comprehensible speed very soon. But of course it won't, because the North London derby is coming. And next up, Ian Stone, comedian, Arsenal fan, and custodian of one of the 2 great North London podcasts that The Athletic put out, will be joining us. Second best, really, let's be truthful. Meanwhile, all I'll just say is you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs on TalkSport in partnership with Toolstation. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Toolstation.
This season we've got the squad, but I'm not quite sure the quality of the front line is up to it. I don't rate Gyökeres. He's come in supposedly as the goal scorer we were hoping that we needed to get us over the line. He's not been that person. We signed Eze, who actually was on the verge of going to Tottenham. And with all due respect to Eze, he's talented, but he's more of a Tottenham player because he's an in-and-out player. He doesn't do it week in, week out. He's a streak-type player. He's not an Arsenal player. Madueke, he's a good understudy maybe for Saka, but he's not a first-teamer. He's great with all the tricks, but his final ball is not good enough. So I think that the problem is our front line. Is something not quite right with the front line? Insofar as we're not effective enough, we haven't got that killer instinct to go out and smash teams. Last night, you're 2-0 up, go out and smash them, put them to rest, and we haven't done that.
Well,
you cannot let Leeds...
Keith, I know you know your stuff. Who's your top goal scorer this season?
Good question, actually. I believe... I think it probably is Gyökeres, I think.
Gyökeres.
But that's
and he's coming in for it this morning.
Sorry?
He's coming in for it this morning.
Look, we got him thinking, we got a striker there who...
It is one of English football's iconic fixtures.
And Lennon has equalised!
Magical game. Everybody knows.
Yeah, Walcott through the centre. He's going to beat the goalkeeper for a second time. Is he? Yes, he is! 5 goals they've scored after going 2-0 down.
Probably the nicest game of the season to watch and to play.
It's Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1. Eberici Eze. He could have signed for Spurs, remember, but he's a hat-trick hero for Arsenal.
Spurs have confirmed the appointment of Igor Tudor.
If they need someone to shake up the place and get everyone going, then he's definitely the right person for it.
This is the North London derby.
Arsenal have dropped 2 points in the title race.
These 2 points dropped tonight will really hurt. And listen, Tottenham next, isn't it?
Anything that we say now is not useful, is we have to do it on the pitch.
We want to play this game in a way that our fans will like, give everything what we have.
Tottenham are about to dare us to do. Don't go there and wave the white flag. You have to fight.
I can't believe they didn't put in, I love football, Stan. That's the best quote ever from a North London derby.
Thank you very much for saying so, Andy. It follows me around like a beautiful personal sun ray. I'm delighted to have said those words on air. Well, we're what are we, 2 days out from it already. You can feel the juice. It's the juiciest fixture for a long, long time. One side can put a decent dent in the other side's title ambition. The other can nail one more copper-headed nail into the relegation coffin of their local rivals. It couldn't be any more spectacular. People will know that I do the Spurs podcast for The Athletic, The View from the Lane, and it is hugely successful and award-winning and great. The other great one that The Athletic do, with all due respect to the others, is Handbrake Off about the Arsenal. Joining us is the person who runs that. He's also, of course, a great friend of this show, Arsenal fan, and a really, really funny comedian, of course, in his spare time these days. It's Ian Stone. Good afternoon, Ian.
Afternoon.
Good
I don't know
intro.
where to start. All right, I'm going to start with a proper sports journalist question. So there's a man with a red flag walking along in front of it. Here comes a cliched question. Who needs this more on Sunday, Spurs or Arsenal?
It's a good question.
Who needs it? We both need it. How is it possible to quantify who needs it more? Do I need to give you the definitive answer? I think we need it slightly more, actually.
Okay. Okay.
I think we do because, listen, I memean, things are going well. We're 5 points clear.
Yes.
Just to put a bit of distance between us and City, I think, it's that's what's... Because, you're still... You're not entirely in a relegation scrap, are you?
We are entirely in a relegation
I think a lot depends on what
scrap.
City do tomorrow night. If they don't get a result against Newcastle, that's going to make things a lot easier for us. They're going to change the dynamic a little bit, I think.
Yes, that is true as well. But it's hard with them, the way they are, that you think, oh, they've done it before, and Arsenal have got this whole... Listen, I would like to put a word in for, that sort of bottle job narrative that you hear, and you think, these guys, they've done so well, and what's actually happened is they had a decent draw away at a very, very good Brentford team, and then we had a bad result, but not the worst result we could have had. And I think... maybe people have to have some perspective. I'm trying to say, I'm not sure I believe it myself.
No, what a beautiful example of whistling in the dark there. How lovely to hear that. A lovely tune in the absolute blackness.
It is a matter of approach, though. Because Arsenal, they're clearly a really, really good football team. They've been the best team. They deserve to be where they are. They can't even argue with that. But just some of the approach sometimes he takes, and that game was a classic game. Third goal, that game's over, completely over. So, trying to hang out for a 2-1. I'm not sure that was the best way to go.
No, and I think there's a lot of Arsenal fans who feel much the same way. You said the handbrake off, take the handbrake off, really, is how people are feeling. But I'm not sure it's in its nature. Is it really? I mean, a few seasons ago we did that and we came second. So now he's thinking maybe we'd like to come first.
Yeah, it is. It's true that. Sorry, Danny. It's true because the first iteration of Arteta's teams was very exciting, and then
But we love to watch him.
I know.
Andy, we love to watch him. It was exhilarating.
It was, and now he's become more pragmatic, but it could pay off.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to enjoy this season next season.
Yeah, that's about right.
It is a bit ridiculous.
No, I think, Ian, what Andy has said there is demonstrably in the first 2/3 of the season, Arsenal were the strongest team, and I use that word in all its possible meanings. And I think if there is, and it's not for me to find rays of sunshine for Arsenal fans, but there is a ray of light in all of this compared to their run-ins and all the rest of it the last few years. I personally don't believe Manchester City are as good a team as they have been over the past half-decade. I don't trust their defence to win every game between now and the end of the season. So provided Arsenal could even recover, Ian, from getting a good walloping at Spurs on Sunday.
That'd be the best result for everyone, is what you're saying, yeah?
I think that would be really kind, yeah. I think it would focus Arsenal's minds and give Spurs a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to come down to the game at City.
It does feel that way. It does feel that way, and it was always going to be like that. And we've got the Carabao Cup final, and probably in the Champions League, and possibly in the FA Cup as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Really, we have to fight them for everything.
And following the whistling in the dark, there was the reminder that Arsenal's still up for the quadruple. Everybody, in case you're getting too down about them. I mean, in all seriousness now, Ian. The results of Brentford and Wolves, they could happen to any team in the Premier League. Are you still reasonably confident this group of players? Because you've got... Last year, I think Arsenal would have run Liverpool very, very close. Amazing though Liverpool were, but they got the wrong players injured at the wrong time of the season. And in particular Havertz, because then they were limited what they could do up front. It seems to me now that Arsenal have got two good footballers in every position. Apart from those two results, as I say, the Premier League is supposed to be competitive. It's not an exhibition. There really is still very, very good reasons for Arsenal fans, whatever the result on Sunday, to be pretty optimistic about the run-in.
There's a generally held view that the main obstacle to Arsenal winning the title is Arsenal, really, and it's just really almost a mental thing. Not almost, it is very much a psychological thing, I think, because they've obviously got the talent. But it's just it's a very strange place to be. It's like the worst, best season I've ever witnessed. Really,
it's mad.
Painful, really quite painful. But the North London derby, I love the North London derby because they're great games, and we generally win.
Yeah, that's why you love it.
This is going to be harder.
Yeah, well, I don't mind you saying that you generally win, because that's factually correct. But that's why the game at the Arsenal was so disappointing because it wasn't a great game because Spurs came and put their hands up, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a poor. That was a really poor effort, and this will be different on Sunday. The fans will be behind. Hasn't he, Igor Tudor's got a very deep voice, hasn't he? He always get a job in voiceovers if it all goes wrong.
I haven't heard him speak.
Oh, we heard him just before we spoke to you.
Sean Dyche is going, oh, I'll have to up my game there a bit, won't I?
Very deep. And away from football, Ian, you've just announced a tour, haven't you? Am I right?
Yeah, I'm putting in extra dates in towns I haven't been before. I've never been to Selby. I'm going to go to Selby. I'm doing Andover and Bakewell and various other places. Listen, I've got really very little better to do aside from watching football than come up with stuff that I can then take on the road and talk and say to people. And if they like hearing it, I put some more dates out and see if it works there as well.
And people should check. Sorry, Danny, just want to say this. People should check you out on Instagram. I absolutely love the little bits of stand-up you put up with, and it's good that it's got captions on it because you can watch it when nobody's looking and you can hear it. They're really. I mean, you really are hitting your strides. I mean, really fantastic.
I love doing it.
Please.
And I love doing it. I mean, I've loved doing it for a long time, but I've suddenly found an audience through putting clips up, and people come to see me, and it's just. Listen, as long as people come, I'll keep doing it. I've got nothing better to do, like I say.
Do you know what, Ian? I'm really interested in this because I don't want to... but by the colour of your hair, I can tell you're a man not in the very first flush of youth, OK? Look,
that's one way of putting it.
A quarter of a century ago, I went to a London theatre to see the great comedian Jackie Mason. Yeah. And his entire stand-up was how unusual it was for a man over the age of 50 to be still regarded as funny. And that's completely changed now, though, because it's not just you, Ian. People are going... And I suppose it is the new electronic technologies that remind people that people are still funny. You know, there was a bias against older people being funny, and now I think that's gone.
I mean, I don't know whether that is true, that there's a bias particularly, but I think maybe on TV, I haven't done TV for quite some time, but somebody said to me, well, you got an Instagram channel, that's your own TV channel. I thought, I can put whatever I want on my own TV channel, so I'll put stuff out. And that seems to attract an audience, and it's quite egalitarian, isn't it? It democratises the whole thing, and Jeff Innocent has done it and a few others. And why
Simon Day's put some great stuff up on social media.
Why not? Why not?
Because
you can keep doing this for quite some time. So that's the plan, really.
Well,
and,
Ian,
and
can
we
wish you nothing but the most fabulous success and luck with your tour, and not so much with your football match. Okay, is that fair?
Perfectly fine. Yeah, thank you. That is, but no, it's not fair. No, but thank you anyway.
Where is it? Is it what's your website called? Was it
Ian Stone Comedian? IanStoneComedian.co.uk.
Does what it says on the tin. Thank you very much, Ian, and best of luck Sunday. Cheers, man.
Yeah, and you. See ya.
Yeah, listen, meanwhile, back here, he's a very funny bloke. Honestly, go and look at the stuff. Andy only told me about an hour ago. I've been chucked in for 20 minutes.
It's good, isn't it? It's funny.
Really good, really good.
It's clever with the audience, too. The hecklers.
Fiery Fridays are back again and out now on the TalkSport Daily podcast. Adrian Durham, Alex Crook and Angelina Kelly arrive every Friday armed with one blazing hot take each. In today's episode, they discuss whether Declan Rice should walk if he doesn't get offered a bigger contract than Saka, and whether Jurgen Klopp... Well, hang on, I'm not waiting to hear the next bit. And whether Jurgen Klopp should be keen to return to the Premier League as the new manager of Manchester United.
No.
You heard it there. That's right. Klopp to United. If you want to hear more, then the TalkSport Daily is available on all your podcast platforms right now.
I don't enjoy all what goes on. Of course I don't. Who does? I don't want to see none of that. I don't like all the ranting and raving. You know, John's obviously got a problem, him and Carl Froch, I don't know, you know, with the two of them, and it is what it is. But it's nothing to do with me. And I've got to be honest, you know, I have no regard for it. It's irrelevant to me. All I care about is what Tyson's doing and the fight. The rest of it's a sideshow.
You say that, Frank, but you are the promoter.
I'm not the promoter.
You're Tyson's promoter.
I'm Tyson's promoter, but I'm not the promoter of the event. It's a ring event. It's on, you know, I have an exclusive contract with DAZN. This fight's on, as you well know, it's on Netflix.
But if you're uncomfortable with it, Frank, might you not have a word with Tyson?
I don't understand. Sorry, but I'm not responsible for what people do or in their family members are in or are with them or whether that's down to them. It's nothing that I'm not responsible, nor would I take the responsibility for that. You know, it's no different if one of your relations starts ranting and raving and screaming and shouting. It's not down to you.
If it were an event that you were a promoter of note on, say, for example, you make the fight between the winner of Dubois versus Wardley, and you see this sort of behaviour exhibiting itself, would you put a stop to it? Would you suggest that you'd exclude John from press conferences if he can't conduct himself in an appropriate fashion?
I'm quite sure if it...
A draw in the Conference League has put pressure on Oliver Glasner as they extend their poor run of form with one win in 15. But Gabriel Bonglahor thinks the criticism's unfair.
I think he's got some credit in the bank for me. Be careful what you wish for, what that manager has done for that club. Everyone's saying he's the best ever Crystal Palace manager. All of a sudden now, oh no, he's ruined his legacy at the club.
Morgan Gibbs-White says Forest have bought into what Vita Pereira wants straight away. Alex Crooks described the performance as night and day compared to what we've seen in recent games.
The Nottingham Forest players have been mugging off their supporters with their recent performances, you know, because where was that energy and that willingness to run for the cause in the last few games of the Sean Dijk era?
Elsewhere, Martin O'Neill reckons Celtic's lack of spending power is holding them back from progressing in Europe.
The money in the game is major. You're talking about Premier League teams and Bundesliga sides, particularly Premier League teams paying £80 million for players don't even get into the team.
Now, Norwich City have agreed to sell Josh Sargent to Toronto FC for an MLS record transfer fee. TalkSport understands it's north of $20 million, which would make him the second highest paid player in the league behind Lionel Messi. And as if Tottenham didn't need to catch any more strays, a Swedish politician used the club as an analogy for Sweden's economic struggles, claiming that the government risks making Sweden Spursy.
Sorry, I'm laughing at something that that Andy has just sent me from AI. Did you do that?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
It's what you can do.
No, you're a master. That's absolutely good. That's absolutely brilliant.
I just took a picture of Stan, put it in the Grok animation system, and got it. And not Stan, of Danny saying, "I love football, Stan." It's good, isn't it?
My mouth opens like the mummy in that film from about 20 years ago.
You can tell, though, can't you? You can tell AI, but it is fun.
I was fooled by the Swedish politician going on about being Spursy. I thought that was AI. Now it's been confirmed by authorities way above my pay grade that, in fact, it was real yesterday. A Swedish politician comparing the Swedish economy to Tottenham when he said, we've got all the resources in the world and no idea what to do with them. Thank you very much, Mr. Danberg, I think he was called.
It's a bit harsh because Spurs haven't got all the resources in the world, have they? They could have, but they haven't.
Well, they've got more than they pretend when it comes to buying and paying players, haven't they?
That's true, yeah.
Oh, no, mate, sorry, we can't give you £300,000 a week. Are you joking? Look at the state of this stadium. It's falling down. Listen, we need you for the Fools panel. If you're around at 2:45, 2:45, and you want to join in the prognostication game, predicting all the big results in the Premier League, I dare say the North London Derby will be in there for mischief, then we need you now. Give us a ring, 03717 223344. That number again is 03717 223344. Try your hand against me and Andy and Stan Collymore and one of our commentators and see if you can help the listeners move up the table. At number, once again, if you're around at 2:45 and want to be on the Fools panel, we definitely need you, is 03717 223344. Right, let's move on to football north of the border, as we sometimes say in a London-centric way, though I am, of course, west of the border. The Celtic boss, Martin O'Neill, spoke to the media after his side were walloped 4-1 by Stuttgart last night in the Europa League. He was asked about the fan protest that began as soon as the game kicked off.
Anybody who thinks that's a good idea needs their heads examining. Really, got to say it, really is. You can imagine what I've been a manager here at this football club when teams like Juventus were scared stiff coming. Scared stiff. There was a cause that embraced players, managers, and crowd and everything. One, it disrupts the game for a start, obviously, and secondly, if I'm a Stuttgart player, I'm thinking, don't feel too bad here. Don't feel too bad, instead of being intimidated by the situation and things like this here. It's not, and that helps no one.
No, it is. I mean, they put up on TV this morning the statistics. I think Stuttgart have spent about 45 million this year, which isn't a fortune, but a lot more than Celtic, maybe around 5 million or something like that.
Yeah, and their players are tempered in the much more fiery environment of the Bundesliga, which people like to call it a farmers' league. It's absolute nonsense. It's a very, very high level of competition, but one of their teams tends to be better than all the others. I mean, there's still a title race going on in Germany until the Klassiker, where Dortmund are always in the title race till they lose to Bayern Munich in the Klassiker. To talk about Celtic last night and Martin O'Neill's comments, I'm delighted we're joined by a great friend of TalkSport. He's on in the evenings on the Through the Night show, Stuart Weir. Hi, Stuart.
Hey, Danny.
Lovely to see you, my friend. First of all, do me a favour, because I'm not sure that not everyone's absolutely clear. What exactly is it that the Celtic fans are protesting about? Or is it a case of James Dean? What have you got?
It's a case of Celtic, actually, the fans protesting that Celtic were in the Champions League at the start of the season and did nothing to replace players that they'd sold. So the fans, the season ticket holders, reckon that they've been sold a bit of a pup here. They were promised certain things that just hasn't transpired. And as a result, the Celtic team that they watched last season and that should have been better this term, it just didn't come to fruition. That and basically the revolving door in terms of managers hasn't helped the situation either. But to concur with Martin O'Neill there, it was something that Stuttgart would have gone into the game last night in Glasgow with a bit of apprehension simply because of the reputation of Parkhead and the Celtic fans. And lo and behold, they were given a chance there to stand and have a look around and watch what was happening. And once the game started again, there was only one team going to win it.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, he was talking about merging with the Premier League, but this is just never. It's never. I can never see this happening. Can you see it happening? I can't.
Hi, Andy. No, I can't. Simply because you would have to have the scenario of turkeys voting for Christmas. Yeah, and it ain't going to happen. And what club's going to say? Yeah, I actually fancy sliding out the Championship into the first tier or the first division or second division, or disappearing out of the league totally, just so Celtic and Rangers can come down here and play for a few seasons and make a bit of money. It ain't going to happen. UEFA would make sure it didn't happen. Unless you're at war, I don't think anybody's ever actually moved league. So it's not, we've been discussing this for year on year on year. The chance of this happening would have been 50, 60, 70 years ago. And Celtic and Rangers didn't want it then because Scottish football was too prosperous for them.
It's probably true. At least, we're talking about title races. At least in Scotland this year, there is a genuine title race. It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I might caution there and say it's maybe because the teams aren't as good as what they've been in previous years. But, Hearts have done well. I think I said even in this show, come back at Christmas and see where they are. And lo and behold, they're still there and still annoying the old firm. It's going to be a good run-in, especially after the split. For once, we'll have maybe two teams screaming and shouting about the games that they're not getting at home against their arch rivals or rivals for the title. So it's going to go right to the death.
Yeah, I do feel it's a shame that Hearts lost arguably their two best players, Shanklin and Devlin, at just the wrong time of the season, but that's the way football goes. It was with sort of bated breath I was listening to what Martin was saying, Stuart, because the thing that he can't say and isn't allowed to say, and Celtic fans do make Parkhead an absolute fortress when it's at its very best, of course, is that, on Trans-Europe Express on Sunday, myself and Andy Brassell pointed out what a difficult time it's going to be for Celtic, because at the moment, and for whatever sets of reasons, the Bundesliga is just so much stronger than the Scottish Premiership, That's just a fact of life.
It's a fact of life as well. In all the years I've watched football, I have never seen a poor German side. They always come, even teams that have been written off, always come and put up a game or put on a show. Last night, Stuttgart were pretty devastating on the counter. They were helped, I have to say, by Kasper Schmeichel. Oh. There was a couple of goals there. I think Andy's reaction there tells everything you need to know. There were two goals at least that I thought had taken a deflection, and it was only after the replay you realise that there wasn't any deflection. They basically, two of them went straight through Kasper Schmeichel. But the guy, Stuttgart, got off to a good start, scored early on. Bilal El Khanous, now there's a name. You might hear more about him in the second leg as well, but I think Scotland fans will be worrying that this is the guy that might lead the line for Morocco during the World Cup. And he looks a bit of a player.
Yeah, that leaves look, Celtic would probably not recover from that in Europe. So I'm going to ask you, Stuart, a romantic question, if I may. Look, let's say that they fall just short.
I thought you'd never ask.
I would. Normally, I would ask you that question when we meet on Through the Night Radio. It seems more appropriate with the soft music. Look, let's say that Rangers' improvement on Danny Roll continues, but they don't quite make the finishing line. Let's say that Celtic gave themselves too much to do. What would it mean for Scottish football, and I'm going to use a great Scottish word now, for a team out with the big two, the old firm, to actually win the title?
Out with a great word in legal terms, isn't it? Listen, it'd be huge. You would have to have a very good memory. Not since 1985 has anybody outside Rangers and Celtic won the actual title. Hearts should have done it in 86 and fell at the very last hurdle up at Dundee. And Hearts fans, it took them a while to recover. I think one or two older Hearts fans remember that and are currently in hiding or in therapy just now, hoping it doesn't happen again. It would make a big difference to Scottish football simply because you had another team upsetting the old firm. It would also make people, I think, look at football in general, Danny, because all of a sudden you've got a guy coming in from Brighton, putting in 10 million or 12 million quid and coming up with his box of tricks in terms of identifying talent and players and making it work. And all these people that said, well, they're never, laptop coaches will never work. Oh, you can put all the data in, but you still need to judge players with your own eyes. Well, Brighton have done it over a period of time, and now it appears as if Hearts have picked up on that, and I've got one or two players there that, you know, they might sell on for quite a bit of profit once they've won the title.
It's a bit ironic, actually, that as Brighton are really struggling, as Hearts are doing well. But up to now, Brighton have been brilliant at that. So
yeah. Listen, thank you, Stuart. Thank you very much indeed. Managed to get through that without mentioning Scotland's victory in the Calcutta Cup, which is always good. I know it's a week ago now, but you can be sure they're still celebrating up there. Remember, tomorrow on TalkSport's YouTube channel, you can watch free live football as Al Hilal take on Al Ittihad in the Russian Saudi League. Watch Theo Hernandez take on Moussa Diaby tomorrow from 7 p.m.
I'll tell you why I'm not worried, because if Arteta doesn't win anything this season major, then it has to go, all right?
No, I disagree with that.
No, well, you would, wouldn't you? But we don't sack managers every other week.
But you can't sack a manager who gets to the latter stages of every competition. You can't. You can't.
You can when the pattern emerges.
You can sack them.
The
you
pattern emerges. Chelsea did it.
It depends what they do.
They won things.
So, John,
okay, here's a question. Would you sack Arteta if they finish second in
well, what happens in the Champions League?
They lose in the final.
What happens in the Carabao Cup?
Lose in the final.
FA Cup?
Lose in the final.
No, mate, he's got to go. You can't
sack him.
You can't get to three
finals.
You can't get to three finals and finish second. You can't. That to me tells that is all the evidence. No, you well done. It's a little bit like what Claudio Ranieri done at Chelsea. Chelsea he finished second that season. We beat Arsenal in the semi-final, quarter-final of the Champions League. Got beat by Monaco. Jose comes in. We've gone from second to the quarter-finals to almost winning. We won the title, won the Carabao Cup. Arteta might just be that man. He might be the nearly man. He might be the man, but he might be the nearly man. If he's the nearly man,
well, you'd sack him. You've got to be careful what you wish for, Joe.
I'm not saying
built this team for him.
I'm not saying
built this team. And if they don't win it this season, or they finish second and they miss the cup finals, whatever. Well, I don't think you can sack Arteta. I don't, mate.
I think you can.
From where they've come from.
No, but that's the point I'm making. He has taken them to this point. Now their time is now. Their time is now. And if it's not now.
Trip to Cheltenham, Alan Brazil style on TalkSport.
Great.
Yeah, sorry, we're handing out. This is not good radio, Andy.
No,
We're just exchanging AI things. To explain, my brother John is a fanatical Ipswich Town supporter. He's a football reporter in his time as well. And he also collects what I call dolls, but he calls action figures, Action Man. And of course, they're worth billions, these Action Men now, the vintage ones. So I said, I've got you this for your Christmas present, for your birthday present, his birthday last week. And I sent him a picture of an Action Man wearing a vintage Ipswich Town kit. And he went, WTF, came back in capital letters.
Wanted it, didn't he?
Capital, he really wanted it. It was AI. I just did it to tease him. It was AI. We're really bad people, Andy. We're really bad people.
Right, I've got to read this out. Here we go. Fancy joining TalkSport at the famous Cheltenham Festival for Gold Cup Day? We're giving away the ultimate hospitality experience for two on Friday, March the 13th. You get a full day of VIP treatment, a 4-course lunch, complimentary bar all day, celebrity tipsters, and more. You'll be experiencing the races in the best possible way, and you'll get to meet some of us. Yeah, we're going to be there, me and Paul. And here's how to enter.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can phone. Call 0343 418 7260. Lines closed on 27th of February 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. It's 18 plus, it's UK residents only. This is a TalkSport promotion. The full T's and C's are at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, just text the word WIN to 83338 now, and good luck to you all. So, Cheltenham, the horse racing, all on the horizon, less than 3 weeks away now. Andy and Paul will be there. So I'm pretty sure will be our racing commentator, Rupert Bell, and he joins us now. Hello, Rupert.
I definitely will be there. You know, that is like my sporting mecca. I'm not going to be kept away from the place. I'll be dragged there screaming and kicking in 3 weeks' time.
And we will.
Well, now I don't think it's any news to anybody. I don't know much about horse racing, but what I do like is when the horses become famous and I can fall in love with the actual animal itself, you know, because they're obviously, quite apart from their sporting prowess, they're so beautiful, and their power and their grace and their personality is evident to all. So I do know who and what Constitution Hill is, and he's returning to Cheltenham to relive past glories. But before that, he's running in a non-jumping race. What's happening? Where and when and why? Why is it happening?
Well, the why is leaving lots of people head scratching, but it's because the horses, we remember last year in the Champion Hurdle, he fell. He fell again and again. He's fallen 3 times, yet he is considered in modern times to be the best hurdler around. But we are, in Cheltenham, is about jump racing, and he's forgotten how to jump consistently. And that moment when he fell in last year's Champion Hurdle will live long in the memory. It was a moment that drew gasps from the whole crowd. And I'm sure, Andy, you would have been the same, and everyone, what's just happened? But they're trying now to get some confidence back in the horse. But this is a 1.5 mile flat race coming out of stalls, which you don't have in jump racing. So, and there's 14 runners and lots of people saying, why? Because what will it actually do for Cheltenham? Because the thing he can't do at the moment is jump. But maybe Nicky Henderson is just thinking, let's go to a race course and get him feeling that he's not going to end up on the ground again, and a bit of confidence, because there's going to be a decent crowd there tonight. They got one of these student race days, so there'll be a big crowd there. So there'll be plenty of buzz. But for the purists are probably saying, including Paul Nicholls today, said if he was training Constitution Hill, he would not be doing this. But who can really go against what Nicky Henderson's achieved in his sport is second to none, yet most people are still saying, what will be the benefit? We don't know if he's going to run, but if he does, he's still, with the open-looking nature of the Champion Hurdle, he won't be far away from going off favourite. But jumping is the name of the game, and that's the concern for all and sundry.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they went, circles and, jumped through hoops to get him into this race. It wasn't that easy, was it?
No, because suddenly they found a way. It was meant to be a 12-runner field. It's now a 14-runner field. They found a way to circumvent the rules to make sure he's in the race. Look, there is interest. The fact is, we are talking about it, and we have to say that jump racing, all sport, needs moments when they sort of are in the front line from a publicity point of view. And Constitution Hill, as you said, Danny, is the kind of horse that creates a frisson of excitement, both negative and positive. So I think, look, I will be watching the race, as many others will be tonight, but ultimately I will be going, now, what's it done? And when we see Nicky Henderson at press days next week, he will be asked this interminably, but will he still want to run it? And, you know, I was speaking to Lizzie Kelly yesterday when we did a programme on TalkSport, and she actually said quite forthrightly, the BHA shouldn't be probably running the horse because the horse hasn't completed as falling, and that's not a good look. And we need to know that the jumping is foot perfect, just like Nick Rocket is not guaranteed a participation in this year's Grand National unless he runs in a race before this year's race in April. So is there a question mark? Should there be something? The BHA say, look, it's too big a risk. We don't need this. And that is a debate. And I thought when Lizzie said that, I thought, oh, that's an interesting viewpoint on this.
Oh, I mean, I can hear the concern in your voice, actually, Rupert. This great and wonderful horse who's given us all so much pleasure, whether you're just a disinterested a spectator like me or you've got the mortgage on him. It would be a shame to see him either A, humiliated or worse, hurt because he's running in inappropriate races. Let's look on a further bright side. Who will be the other equine superstars over the 4, 5, whatever number of days it is these days of Cheltenham?
Well, there is a stack full. I've just come back from Ireland. I mean, I went to Willie Mullins' yard. Yeah. Will Gallop into Charm, regain his Cheltenham hurdle crown. You know, the champion hurdle. I mean, we saw Golden Ace winning it last year. And she, I have to say, she does what she's supposed to do, jump. And so why couldn't she defend her crown? She was unheralded last year. She'll be John Bon. Can he win at Cheltenham? The Queen Mother Champion Chase looks a fascinating renewal. Marine Nationale coming from Barry Connell. The Irish, I don't think, will have it all their own way this year. Sorry to say, Danny, but I did have a fascinating time. I must admit, Danny, have you ever been to Trim in Ireland?
Yeah, I know where Trim is, yeah.
Well, I must admit, I was taken aback by the quality of the castle there. But anyway, and that's near.
Well, and I'm taken aback by the news that you were at Mullins's and didn't come here for a cup of tea and something red and glossy because I'm about 4 miles away.
Oh, really?
Next time. Oh, yeah, next time.
Well,
next time.
You come down to the Lord Bagenal. That's where we all were, holed up in there.
Yes, the Lord Bagnall Hotel. One of those places is very Irish. If you ask for steak and chips, the steak comes on a bed of mashed potato. You get 2 kind of spuds with your steak.
And the portion size are good there as well, actually.
Oh, you don't get to be this shape by being skimped in restaurants, I can assure you. Listen, thank you very, very much indeed. Look forward to hearing you and seeing you at Cheltenham. Same with you, Andy, because it is. I mean, I've got to say it. You've got your Derby and you've got your Grand National, but Cheltenham is the most extraordinary event because when I went and did it with yourself and Paul a couple of years ago, what you don't realise is you got a crowd the size of Wembley, all within about 50 yards of the finishing post. It really is bewilderingly loud and great, great fun.
That's
fun. You'll hear tons of it here on Talk Sport, where you're currently listening to Kelly and Jacobs in partnership with Toolstation. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Toolstation.
Just unbelievable how things have changed so dramatically just from like a 190-minute game where Arsenal really...
No, but it's not 190-minute game, though.
No, it's not.
It's been a few weeks now.
No, you're right. But if Arsenal win that 2-0,
compared to drawing it 2-2. The narrative is so different. The point, it's so... We're talking about now, you said it last night, championship rounds. We are there. We're approaching that time now.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the funny thing, right, is that it's Man City, right? They're not putting Arsenal under pressure. This is not like Man City and Liverpool going toe-to-toe where City win, Liverpool win, City win, Liverpool draw, City win, Liverpool win, City... And do you remember that under Klopp and Pep, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I remember when Chelsea were like going toe-to-toe with Man United. You know, there'll be that... They win, and you have to go. And there's like... The points difference was minute. And every result mattered. The only reason that Man City are back in this title race ain't because of Man City. It's because of Arsenal. That's the reason they're back in it. Not that Man City are like putting pressure on them. The only pressure that's coming is from.
So you think it's more about them stumbling than
yes, 100%. This is not breathing down your neck.
I know, but I think Man City are. They've been look. They're rebuilding, right? They've built a new team.
Yeah.
Arsenal's team was ready to win it. So I feel like Man City now. This is when Man City come alive. Right, this is when they come alive.
This will be the worst Man City side to win the Premier League.
TalkSport Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
2 o'clock, here are your sports headlines. Good afternoon. I'm not good enough to keep winning, integrate new players or cope with the schedule demands, claims Ollie Glasner, who it seems may well be out a lot sooner than the summer.
As a manager, you always depend on your players. They will get all the support, like always, then we will see.
Do you still want to be here until the end of the season?
Oh, let's see what the future brings. We never know.
Gabby Agbonlahor says it sounds like Glasner's packed his bags already. Alex Crook understands Ferencvaros's Robbie Keane could replace the German.
And this is a guy who's managed to get knocked out of the FA Cup by Macclesfield. Yes. Talk about after the Lord Mayor's show, the high of winning the cup and then to be absolutely humiliated. And to not win last night against a team, let's be honest, Sam, you never heard of them before the draw was made. We're never going to hear of them again after next week.
Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola has confirmed Erling Haaland will be fit to face Newcastle in City's bid to close the gap to Arsenal to just 2 points. He says he's not looking at the table yet.
With 12 games left is an eternity. So many things is going to happen. That is the only truth I have.
The Ukraine team will boycott the opening ceremony of next month's Winter Paralympics in protest of the decision to allow Russian athletes to compete for their country. Elsewhere, UK Athletics is facing a 7-figure fine after admitting to corporate manslaughter. It's after the death of Abdullah Hayeyi, a shot putter and father of 5 from the UAE, who died after a metal cage fell on him in high winds while he was preparing for the World Para Athletics Championships in 2017. And Ferrari's Charles Leclerc has topped the timesheets in the morning session of the final day of F1 pre-season testing. There's more on TalkSport.com.
TalkSport News.
The royal family is facing its greatest crisis in 100 years following the arrest of Andrew, and 2 people have been charged with the murder of a 3-year-old boy in southeast London. There's more from the news team at past.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
After a dry start for many, rain spreading from Northern Ireland and Western Scotland to all areas by early afternoon, but feeling milder.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of today's edition of Hawksby and Jacobs. It's really me, Danny Kelly, and him, Andy Jacobs. Kelly and Jacobs. We've got a lot to get through in this hour, as you can imagine. I love the Friday shows when I get a chance to do them because you've got, very set things in the calendar. Clips of the week, which always when I'm on, they don't. Clips of the Week is an exclusive Hawksby and Jacobs product. So we do a Clips of the Week special edition. This week's one is Newsreaders. And we've got, obviously, the Fools panel. We'll hear from Stan Collymore and much else. But we've got a lot to get through in the next hour, of course, before we get to any of that. So thank you all for joining us. I'm Danny Kelly. He's Andy Jacobs. I nearly always say he's Andy Brassell because I'm so used to Sunday nights here on TalkSport. In the meanwhile, Carl Froch. We'll turn to boxing next. We've got a great personality guest straddling the world of show business and boxing in a second. But Carl Froch is ready to fight John Fury on his son Tyson's undercard in April.
For goodness sake.
I know.
Ridiculous.
Froch and Fury Sr. clashed earlier this week at a press conference. It's fair to say only one person was doing the clashing.
Yeah.
Froch and Fury Sr. Clashed earlier this week at the press conference to announce Tyson's comeback fight against Arslanbek Makhmudov on April the 11th. Fury then demanded a fight with the former super middleweight world champion on the undercard at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Somebody's showing a bit of fight at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is good to see. Froch has now responded on his podcast, Froch on Fighting.
John, for one final time, listen to me so it goes into that thick skull. I accept your challenge, but know one thing. When that first bell goes, I'm going to come over to your corner and absolutely stick it on you, Cobra style, and set about you and make a mess of you. You know why? Because you're a bully and you need putting in your place. You're a bully and you're making a mockery of this sport, professional boxing.
There you go. The winner takes on Steve Bunce, apparently. It should be a good fight.
You'll probably be involved in some kind of tag boxing match, Andy. I must say, Carl Froch, when I spent some time with him up at the City Ground in Nottingham back in the day, doing My Sporting Life with him, I never met a man more certain about everything that he says. He has a great deal of certainty in his life, Carl. And if I was John Fury, I'd be probably trying to find some kind of fetlock sprain to get out of that fight if I was him. Now, listen, as I say, we've got a fantastic guest to talk about this and much else as well. Jordan Banjo, you'll all remember him very much as part of the amazing dance troupe Diversity. He's also done the Misfits boxing, and he joins us now. Hello, Jordan. How are you?
Hello, Danny. I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Well, really good, and all the better for seeing your lovely visage on the screen in front of me. First of all, how do you respond? I mean, it's so difficult now. As the worlds of showbiz and boxing blur, and that's what's happening, the idea of a 60-year-old John Fury taking on Carl Froch, it would seem ridiculous to me 5 years ago. Now it's becoming commonplace.
Well, I wouldn't even say 5 years ago. Probably a couple of years ago, it would have felt a crazy suggestion. But then only a few months ago, we saw Jake Paul literally fight Anthony Joshua. And even when he got announced, everyone was like, that's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And it did. So, John Fury taking on Carl Froch, it doesn't seem like too much of a stretch of the imagination anymore. I mean, it being on the undercard, at Tottenham Stadium of Tyson Fury versus Arslanbek Makhmudov, that feels like a bit of a stretch. It feels like it belongs more on Misfits, where the rest of us are, but you never know. Weird things will happen.
It won't happen. But, this week they were talking about Mayweather.
That means it will happen, Andy. It's boxing. It will happen.
It won't. Mayweather against Tyson, also very unedifying prospect, I think. These blokes should stay retired, I think, but there you go. So,
what about...
Go on.
Please, Andy. Go on, no.
No, Jordan, I was going to ask Jordan, so how is the boxing going and how do you fit it in with the dancing?
Yeah, do you know what? I'll be honest with you, Andy. It's going well, mate. I'm really, really enjoying it. Obviously, I had my first fight in May with Misfits last year. I come and spoke to yourself about it. And, I won my debut. It didn't quite go how I planned. And I think that is because it's the first fight. It was the first experience, and this is the second time out. So I'm hoping this one goes a bit more to plan. I'm really excited for it. We're just a couple of weeks away now. March 7th, back in Derby again. And I won't lie, it's a great card. Obviously, you've got, like, the celebs, like my side on there. But we've got, like, former Olympic champions. We've got boxing legends on there in the form of Gabe Rosado. Not quite Mike Tyson's age, luckily. I think he's still in his late 30s. So we're in a good zone. We're in a good zone with it. But I'm really, really excited to be getting back out there.
Your footwork from dancing, can you bring that into boxing? Does that help?
I do think coordination helps. I really do. I do think that helps with the boxing a lot. But when you're dancing, there's not another 6'5" guy opposite you trying to punch you in the face. So it does make it a bit trickier. But we try our best.
Well, that was exactly what I was going to ask you. The similarities between the two things. And I thought, hang on, somebody's trying to bash your face off in one of these things. There is no similarities, which begs the question, Jordan. And forgive me if you've had to ask this. Why are you doing it, my friend?
Mate, Danny, it's a fair question, mate. And it's the question that I've asked myself a couple of times. So my dad was a professional fighter.
Okay.
And he never let me or my brother box. He would not have it. And then I started hosting boxing events, working more boxing. I've always been a big fan of the sport. And when I was lucky enough to be presenting them, I was like, I want to start training. I want to get a better idea of what these fighters are going through. Then you start doing some pads, you start doing some classes. That leads to sparring. And then after sparring, next week, you're like, oh, I'd love to fight. You get offered the fight by someone like Misfits. And for me, look, Misfits gets a little bit of stick from a purist boxing fans. But if you're a big boxing fan and you train and you get offered to go and fight on the zone with the same referees and all these people that you recognise from when you're watching people you idolise, it's a huge opportunity. Who's going to say no to it? Well, I'm definitely not going to say no to it. So I'm very excited to be back for the second one.
Yeah, we're just looking at the fight. Hey, you've got a bit of style about you. You know what you're doing, don't you?
Oh, I like to speak, so they're the highlights, I'll be honest with you, Andy. They're the best thing to say. So.
Yeah, the other fella, I don't know who it is, he looks very disappointed to get beaten by you. I have to say that, Jordan.
Not twinkle toes. Not twinkle toes beat me.
Let me ask you a question for somebody who's used to being on stage in front of large audiences. Boxing, as you say, DAZN puts on these big shows. Are you aware of the onlookers, the spectators, the crowd when you're actually in that ring? Because compared to when you say in a theatre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, weirdly enough, you are, and that's something I was quite shocked by. I thought I'd go in there, be laser focused, and that's something again that I've had to work on for this second fight. Is not. I know this is going to sound silly, not performing. I'm there. This is a real fight, and this is something you've really got to concentrate on. When I was in there between rounds, I'm looking out at the crowd, I'm recognising celebrities, there's people here, there's people there. And it's like, no, Drew. Even when I very first went in for that fight, the first thing I thought when I got in there was like, oh my God, this referee, I've seen him referee other people on TV. And it like blew my mind. Do you know what I mean? And it was a real lesson.
Sounds good. What about the group, diversity?
I think by the end of the first round, I was like,
oh, sorry, we got across. No, I was just asking you about what you were up to with the group, because I think I saw Ashley launching a tour and probably a couple of months back.
Yeah. So the boys are literally currently out on tour as we speak. I'm going to get this fight done. I've got a couple of other things that I need to sort out, a couple of other projects I'm quite excited about. And once they're done, I'm going to try and link up with the boys for the last half of the tour and get my dancing shoes back on.
Yeah, I'm tired of of trying to pretend that there's any link between the two things. But returning to professional boxing, and if I may, Jordan, Eddie Hearn says that AJ should return in July. Given what's gone on in his personal life and the terrible tragedy that's before, two of his closest friends, I'm not sure I want to see AJ fighting anymore. I hope he's made a pile of money, and I'd like to see him sitting on that pile of money enjoying his life. But that's me. I'm not a professional boxer.
Yeah, no, I can understand that view. I think for the only person who can make that choice, obviously, is AJ, right? And I think that, maybe for him, taking a step back could be the worst thing. Maybe he needs boxing. I feel like you hear a lot of these athletes. Tyson Fury has gone through a lot. We've heard countless stories of boxers saying how boxing has saved their life, brought them back from the edge, brought them back from a bad place. AJ's gone through something that, you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. We saw how traumatic it was. We saw the scenes all over the news, what happened in Nigeria. And you hope that if he is coming back, it's because it's for the best thing for him. Like you said, it's not for money. It's not for anything like that. It's hopefully because, it's something that's going to secure him mentally and it's what he wants to do. And if that is the case, then I'm happy to see him back. I'm a big AJ fan.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I am too.
You want the best for him, don't you? Yeah.
And you want that fight. If they both want it, the fans want it. Everybody wants to see that fight before it's too late, but we'll see.
Yeah. And remind us then, Jordan, when your next fight is. It's just a few weeks away now.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, March 7th, Valiant Live in Derby. Tickets are still available. You can grab them from my socials or on Ticketmaster. Look, we want to see everyone there, of course. If you're a fan of boxing, there's some really, really good fighters on there. If you're a fan of some of the celebs, some of the Olympic legends on there, there's a little bit of everything. It's going to be a great show, and we're excited to see everyone there.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you for being honest about the tickets and not pretending like Infantino that every ticket has gone for 10,000 quid. Thank you very, very much indeed. Jordan Banjo there, who boxer, dancer, and as you can hear there, top man all round. Now, thanks to him for joining us here on H&J, on Kelly and Jacobs. And don't miss DAZN's stacked schedule with fights every week. And this weekend delivers the big one. 3 fight nights, 1 unmissable weekend only on DAZN. It all begins live from Nottingham on Saturday as Ashley Wood takes on Josh Warrington. Then later that evening, live from Las Vegas, Ryan Garcia chases his first world title against Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight world title. And finally, Claressa Shields faces Franchon Cruz. DAZN in an undisputed heavyweight rematch for women on Sunday. Matches, watch all 3 of those fights. They're only on DAZN.
Boxing update on TalkSport with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Got to talk about Celtic. You know that the title. I don't. You've been away, right? The title's blown open now. Celtic favourites, Rangers second favourite, Hearts third.
Yeah.
And I've been whinging, right? And maybe I shouldn't because I don't go regular now. But I've been whinging about Celtic's lack of creation in midfield. It really annoyed me. I'm looking at the midfield saying, "Come on, we're better than that." Anyway, they got absolutely gubbed last night. But what I didn't know was, right from the first whistle, the old tennis balls came on.
Yeah. Martin O'Neill said something about it.
All I'm saying is this, right? I'm not trying to cover up a shocking result. Celtic got pumped, absolutely pumped, 4-1. But I'm not talking about that because Stuttgart are probably a decent side, better than Celtic.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the players any good when you start that carry on.
Well, it gives the away team a lift as well.
As Martin said, Stuttgart players would know about the atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suddenly all these tennis balls come on, they're saying, "Oh, lovely."
We were talking about, I think Martin was talking about when Juventus, they were scared to go to Celtic Park. You know, the atmosphere, the hostility, all that sort of stuff. It's not an easy place to go and play, probably, as a European side, but they make it probably easier.
I'm going to upset a few now. Celtic fans, did you throw a tennis ball after the first kick? Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you're very disappointed the way things are going now.
The bold and all that sort of stuff.
For God's sake, it doesn't do it before the game and after the game, not during the game, honestly.
we're getting around the sports today here on Kelly and Jacobs. We move straight from the world of celebrity boxing and boxing itself to that of rugby union. Because another huge weekend in the Six Nations with England hosting Ireland tomorrow at Twickenham. Here's TalkSport's rugby commentator Andrew McKenna with everything that you need to know.
Round 3 gets underway in southwest London as England and Ireland meet at Twickenham. They're two of the 4 sides who are 1-1, lost 1, so winning the championship is still possible, provided they win tomorrow. England have gently tinkered after Scotland. Ollie Lawrence is in at 13, meaning Tommy Freeman moves back out to the wing, and the hype man himself, Henry Pollock, starts in the number 8 shirt. Ireland have restructured their halfbacks, with Jamison Gibson-Park and Jack Crowley getting the 9 and 10 shirts after impressing off the bench. The other Saturday game's in Cardiff, where Scotland are the visitors. Wales improved against France. Can they take it further against a buoyant Scottish group? Wales have also made a change in the 10 shirt, with Sam Costello getting the start. There are 3 other changes, including a first appearance for Gabe Hamer-Webb on the wing. He'll be up against the returning Duan van der Merwe. He's one of 2 returning British and Irish Lions for Scotland, the other being Blair Kinghorn. The forwards sees half the pack moving around. Can Scotland back up last week, though? And Sunday sees France taking on Italy, not in Paris, but in Lille. The French are the only side, played 2-1-2, and are expected to win. But the fact that monster lock Manny Meafu is starting tells you they're taking no chances. Italy have beaten the French. Another this weekend would be a surprise, but expect them to make France work hard.
Yeah, pretty delicious in the rugby this weekend. To help us preview that and also to tell us about something amazing he's doing for charity in the not too distant future, I'm delighted to say we're joined by the former England hooker, Andy Long. Good afternoon, Andy. How are you?
Good afternoon, Danny. Good afternoon, Andy. Lovely. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
You've got to see he's looking in very good condition, which is a very good thing.
Well, it's probably a very good sign for what he's about to undertake, yeah. But before that, let's get on to the rugby. I'm broadcasting and talking to you, Andy, from the Republic of Ireland, from Ireland. And we're going through a dark night of the soul with the rugby. After half a decade of winning Six Nations, being the world number 1 and all the rest of it, we're struggling to find that magic touch again. I don't think it's going to get any easier at Twickenham at the weekend.
Well, no, I know it's you're on a rich vein of form, haven't you, for a number of years. So I think Twickenham tomorrow is going to be incredible. I think England off the back of the game last week where they weren't expected to lose to Scotland, and Scotland, fair play, they pulled out the bag. So I think this week you've got 2 teams really that are, England got a great running win. And, it takes a while to build that consistency. You lose one game and everyone's kind of starts to write you off. And Ireland
they were poor in that game, weren't they? I mean, Scotland were great the way they started, but England sort of self-destructed a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think, the red card didn't help and the way he had to adjust. And I think having Freeman in the centre, that he's learning to be a centre. He's a great centre, but I think as soon as you lose someone outside you, it puts a little bit more pressure on him. And you're playing against one of the best sides in the world that move the ball. And they moved the ball incredibly well. So we did have our chances, though, to get back in the game at 17-10. And then the drop goal was really, the charge down was a bit of a nail in the coffin for England. But I think, Ireland are going to come with, lots of confidence because really they've got a bit of a free swing. No one's really expecting them to go to Twickenham and win. So the pressure is all on England to move forward, because if it's 2 losses out of 3 for either of the sides, it's a lot of pressure. They're moving forward for the last 2 games.
Andy, I will get on to, I really am interested in what you're doing for the motor neurone disease charity. But before that, one last question about this. As a former international hooker, the debate around the place of scrummaging in rugby union, we haven't got a place time to do the whole debate, but it does strike me that it has become far too important, the scrum, and it's taking up too much time in the game. Am I wrong about that? Because I know it's an art form and all the rest of it. But by the time the referee gets the thing set, it's 2.5 minutes taken out of every part of the game.
Yeah, I think you open a can up, don't you, with the scrum. Look, I think it's a really important part of the game. I think it's what makes rugby unique in terms of having that scrum. But finding ways to speed that up and maybe
keep it safe.
Can't they stop the clock? I've been on banging about it for years. Just stop the clock. And then when the ball goes in, start the clock again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's great because it's nothing worse than being a spectator And they're putting adverts in now because they realise the games it takes so long. But I think finding ways that you can either penalise earlier as well, which I think they are with free kicks, to move the ball, and then you're not being able to reset a scrum from a free kick, I think is really important. So I think the scrum is still a really important part, because what it does is there's shapes and sizes, all shapes and sizes for rugby, and I think that's really important that we have that uniqueness in our game. But finding ways to keep it safe, keep it fast, and keep it entertaining is really important, because a good scrum is damaging, and it can be so important to winning a game of rugby.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected you to say much different, but at least you recognise that the time taken is not good for the spectator part of it. But listen, all of that, I mean, to my mind, pales into insignificance, because in a couple of months' time, you're going to attempt to raise a minimum of £70,000 for a hugely important charity, challenging MND, the motor neurone disease charity. And tell us exactly what you're going to be doing. I was going to say attempting to do, what you're going to be doing, Andy.
Yeah, so I'm going to be taking on the Marathon des Sables, which is a 270-kilometre stage race across the Sahara. 6 stages in 7 days. It's self-supported, so you have to carry all your food for the week. So obviously you got 40-50 degrees of heat. I'm doing it to raise money for challenging MND in the MND community and raise awareness. Really, my motivation for this was sparked probably 5 years ago when I met Alex Gibson, who was the founder of Challenging MND. He was a former GB decathlete. He's my age, young family, and he got struck down with motor neurone disease. And meeting him, and he was speaking to a group of rugby players that I was coaching at the time, it left a profound impact on my life, and probably changed my life, if I'm honest, in a place where I was transitioning from being a player to a coach, and then what was happening in the rest of my life, and going through a few battles, I suppose. And meeting Alex gave me a huge amount of perspective. It helped me rationalise a few things and gave me a new purpose. And and I'm running for those guys and people that are suffering with this very cruel disease.
For those who don't know, I know the Marathon des Sables, the race across the Sahara, some people do it in trucks and some people do it on motorbikes. But let me just get this absolutely straight. You're going to run, are you?
Yeah, so run, when I say run, there'll be a fair amount of walking as well, I'd imagine. I mean, let's get this right. I just want to survive it. So, to put that in perspective, there's 6 stages, 7 days. The first 3 stages are about between 30 and 40 kilometres. The 4th stage is 100k, so that's what they call the long stage. It's the longest stage I've ever done as a 4th stage. It's the 40th anniversary of Marathon des Sables. So you get 2 days to do that, and then you finish with a marathon and a half marathon. So yeah, it's going to be. Look, I'm excited about it in a way.
Yeah. How hot is it going to be?
Well, it changes every year, apparently. You hear lots of stories about having really hot years and really, I say colder years, maybe late 30s. And my wife says I'll sweat in an igloo, so she's a bit concerned about how it goes. But I don't know. When I get out there, I'll be able to kind of judge it. But I'm doing lots of heat acclimation to help as well. But it's going to be.
You can't prepare for that. You can make yourself fit. You can't prepare for that, can you? Let's be truthful, Andy.
No. I was just going to say about MND. It's true. The notes here are right. It does seem to disproportionately affect elite athletes. We've seen so many great stars, and struck down. People like. And we spoke to Doddy Weir on this show. We had Lindsay Burrow come in, Rob Burrow's wife, and it's just there's a kind of extra tragedy in the fact that it hits these great athletes.
Yeah, and I suppose since there's lots been said. I think when Lewis Moody was diagnosed, I was interviewed and everyone's saying, well, it must be something to do with rugby, and we don't know categorically the reasons why people are diagnosed or struck down by motor neurone disease. And since being involved as a patron of the charity, I've met a lot of people with motor neurone disease, and they're from all different types of backgrounds. It's just, I suppose, that the rugby players or the sports people, it highlights it in that sense.
High profile, yeah.
It is high profile, as you say. So I think that I just think that we just need to keep raising awareness, and what Kevin's been doing for Rob and the foundation there in Leeds is phenomenal. I think what they're doing with Ed Slater and what they're doing with the Gloucester and Leicester guys, we're just keeping raising the awareness of this illness, which is little known really. We've got to keep the spotlight on it.
Andy, well, you've done that marvellously today here on TalkSport. Tell us where people, those who can afford, can bung you a few pounds, including people like myself, because it is an amazing thing that you're doing, and for a really good charity. So why wouldn't you help if you can? How can people find a way to contribute?
Yeah, so the Challenging MND website, so www.challengingnmnd.org, and also my Andy Long Give Star. If you Google Andy Long Give Star, it'll come up with my my link to donate there. And just thank you so much, because everything goes exactly to nationally across the country to give beneficiaries donations so that they can make memories. It might be a holiday, it might be something more practical for the home, but it's actually where our charity differentiates from others, is it is actually the here and now in terms of helping families and sufferers.
Brilliant.
Andy, it's go on.
No, I was just going to say, you did the London. We should just mention this. You did the London Marathon last year, pushing a wheelchair alongside Alex Gibson, who you mentioned. So you're not a stranger to doing a bit of distance running.
No, I think no, and I think, but what should be said there is Alex can't walk now, and his speech is pretty much totally gone now. He walked the start of the London Marathon, and he walked up the mile at the end with his brothers on his walker, and in an amazing feat of courage, in the world stage, to really lay it out there and say, this is what motor neurone disease is. So yeah, he's my inspiration, and continue to be when I'm out in the desert.
Brilliant. Well, best
Andy,
of luck.
and you don't mind me saying, I always say thank you to our guests, but you've also been inspirational to me at least, and I hope to many of the listeners. So thank you so very, very much. Andy Long there, and you've heard the addresses where you can go and contribute to his effort to help with recognition of and the relief of motor neurone disease. In the meanwhile, you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs here on TalkSport in partnership with Toolstation. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Toolstation.
And I think that ideally, I don't want to see an early fight. I want to see a good fight. I want to see Jermaine stick it on Moses Atoma. I want to see a good fight, and ultimately we have an enjoyable evening watching two good fighters put something out. But I think Moses, I don't think he's been in with someone as quick and as fast and at this stage in his career. Going in with Anthony Joshua and Dillian White at their stages in their career is not the same going in with Moses. But on the other side of it, Moses isn't as experienced and as wise as those two fighters.
And that's
so there's a trade-off. But I think personally, with due respect to the man sitting next to me, I think he's going to get knocked out by Moses.
But there's nothing to suggest that he will get knocked out, because he's never been knocked down, never been knocked out.
And I'm happy to be wrong.
No, but what I'm saying
is
he's been, yeah, absolutely. But I say he had been in at the time with Anthony Joshua. Yeah, he was on a rebuild and a comeback, but that kid can whack, and he's still very, very dangerous. And Jermaine took some flush shots from him.
The big question about Anthony at that fight, and it's always been about Anthony, was he gun shy? And
he was letting the shots go.
There was an allegation at that fight he was getting himself through that fight. Moses Atoma won't navigate this fight.
We'll see. See, that's the difference between skills and just watching it. I made him fight that way. It wasn't that he had to fight.
Fair enough.
I made it that way.
Fair enough.
It's different when you're in the ring.
Of course.
So like everybody expects Moses to come out and fight this way or do this and do that. I won't let him.
No.
He's going to have to try. He's going to have to try and try again.
A draw in the Conference League has put pressure on Oliver Glasner as they extend their poor run of form with 1 win in 15. But Gabby Bonglahor thinks the criticism's unfair.
I think he's got some credit in the bank for me. Be careful what you wish for, what that manager has done for that club. Everyone's saying he's the best ever Crystal Palace manager. All of a sudden now, oh no, he's ruined his legacy at the club.
Morgan Gibbs-White says Forest have bought into what Vita Pereira wants straight away. Alex Crooks described the performance as night and day compared to what we've seen in recent games.
The Nottingham Forest players have been mugging off their supporters with their recent performances, because where was that energy and that willingness to run for the cause in the last few games of the Sean Dijk era?
Elsewhere, Martin O'Neill reckons Celtic's lack of spending power is holding them back from progressing in Europe.
The money in the game is major. You're talking about Premier League teams and Bundesliga sides, particularly Premier League teams paying £80 million for players don't even get into the team.
Now, Norwich City have agreed to sell Josh Sargent to Toronto FC for an MLS record transfer fee. TalkSport understands it's north of $20 million, which would make him the second highest paid player in the league behind Lionel Messi. And as if Tottenham didn't need to catch any more strays, a Swedish politician used the club as an analogy for Sweden's economic struggles, claiming that the government risks making Sweden Spursy.
Yes, to Kelly and Jacobs, actually, and I think Jacobs has got some housekeeping for us.
I have. Macca, who we heard before that piece with Andy Long, tells me that there's a match tonight. Harlequins, England legends versus Ireland legends, raising money for MND and Lewis Moody's family.
Fantastic.
And blind Dave Healy, who's a long-time friend of the show, brilliant charity runner and money raiser. He's done the Marathon des Sables and says, look, it's doable. And he's also doing the Super 6 half marathons throughout Europe with his kids. And he's just run and raised money over the years. He's an amazing guy as well. So good luck to everybody taking part in those
Absolutely.
events.
When Andy was talking about running across the Sahara, it is doable. It's just whether it's desirable is the question, isn't it?
I think he says grit your teeth, but that's typical Dave. It's all right for him. he likes to do that. But that's good.
Listen, somebody who, of course, does a lot of running himself. His machine running to full fitness, mental and physical, has become the thing of legend on YouTube and social media. Is my good friend, and that's one of the reasons I love doing these Friday shows when I get called up. It's time to talk once again to Stan Collymore. Hi, Stan.
A very good afternoon, gentlemen. I heard you, Andy, mention it a little bit earlier, but the I love football, Stan, I love it, isn't lost on me, of course, this weekend.
Stan, every time the North London derby comes, it's rare that you get requests for a piece of commentary. Just to give the background, it's the North London derby many, many years ago. I'm in the studio at TalkSport. Stan is at home broadcasting with me. Spurs have got a goal back to make it 4-3, and I'm really annoyed because fancy scoring 3 at Arsenal and not getting a point. Then this happens.
Nervously over their shoulder, but
goal! Stan, goal at the Emirates! Ian Abraham!
In the last of the 4 minutes of added on time, unbelievably Spurs have got a point. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 4. Unbelievable football at the Emirates.
I love football, Stan. I love it.
Well, Arsenal should have been out of sight at the Emirates, but Harry Redknapp is all over the place. He's quite incredible on the side. He's doing a David Pleat.
And I believe
that's so brilliant, isn't it?
I believe that was Harry's first game in charge. Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah,
towards Sunday. And Stan, if that was an example, I think, with all due respect to Arsenal fans, that was an example of the joy, exhilaration that football can bring. During the week, we saw the other side of the game. In the game between, in a Champions League game, one of the most high-profile matches of the season between Real Madrid and Benfica there in Portugal, where once again, the spectre of racism, in this case player-to-player racism, and of course nothing has been proven, the process is ongoing, raised its ugly head. And once again, the victim is alleged to have been Vinny Jr., one of the great players in the world.
Yeah, I mean, in a Premier League game nearly 30 years ago now, it's on record, so I can mention it. I was racially abused by a player using the N-word 20 times. Wow. I went to the referee. I went to both managers. I went to both chairmen. I went to the PFA. We went to the PFA, and the PFA said, you both should apologise off your pop. And the reason why that's
scandalous
is that pretty much nothing has changed. I've heard so many pundits basically say, because Prestiani had his shirt over his mouth, we can't prove what he said. And then obviously people casting doubts, all far corners of the earth, pundits, broadcasters, saying, oh, well, this always happens with Vinny Jr., etc., etc. And I just think, parking the racism argument, I mean, they're pushing an open door with me. I've spoken about it many years on the station, many shows and programmes about it. Is that in this particular instance, there's a technical issue that we now need to deal with. I put it out on social media the other day, loads of people, a couple of thousand comments, which was amazing. And I basically said, it's now time that we stopped the very man-babyish, hand over the mouth, two players walking off, telling each other where they're going to meet later on, how's your mom, how's your dad, he played rubbish, etc., etc. Because the extension of what happened as a flippant, this is a marquee player, not telling you what he's doing, he's keeping his privacy, has now turned into something a little bit more sinister. Because Prestiani is innocent until proven otherwise, and there'll be a whole process that's going to take place. We'll never know the answer. The truth is, because nobody will be able to decipher what was said under that shirt.
They need to get rid of that. I agree with you. But one of the problems was that people employed lip readers, so the players would have I agree. I think you're absolutely 100% right. They shouldn't allow people to speak behind their mouth or behind a shirt, but they're going to have to change their behaviour, aren't they? Because the media will get lip readers to see what they're saying.
Yeah, but I think that the game managed for 150 years up to that point. And, you know, I played in an era where there were cameras everywhere. And if you're dopey enough and daft enough to say something without your hand over your mouth that could be construed as racism, homophobia, anything else that would be sanctionable, then tough. We understand that football is an emotional game, and players using the odd F-bomb, nobody's going to care about, because we all understand as football fans and as broadcasters and as pundits that people will use fruity language at times. But I think that the position we're in now is that, you know, I mean, I was getting loads of questions, Andy and Danny, saying, well, how are they going to pass tactics amongst each other? Firstly, as a professional footballer, you do most of your tactical work during the week. Then you do it before the game in a team meeting at the hotel. Then you do it before the game in the dressing room. Then you do it at half time. Is that if I need to go over to whoever, Robbie Fowler,
Brian Roy, whoever, yeah,
and he's about to take a free kick, I go up to him and I put my hand over my mouth next to his ear, and everybody is then like, you know, he's going to put it in the top corner. That's allowed. But I think that the ungentlemanly conduct rule or law already exists. And I think that the shirt over the mouth to talk to anybody on the pitch and the hand over the mouth is a very sanctionable ungentlemanly conduct offence, and we need to stop it. The interesting thing is, I saw a piece in The Athletic that I think it was yesterday, and it was one of their journalists said that FIFA are considering a Prestiani law, which effectively will do that. It will look at Incidences on the pitch potentially, whereby hand over the mouth or shirt over the mouth can be sanctioned. The game happened for 150 years without any issue with people shouting, with people bawling. It's very much a modern construct of big-time Charlie players originally putting their hand over the mouth so that you didn't, like Andy said, lip readers could say, where you going, who's your girlfriend, who's this, that, the other. Nobody cares. But the very real-world consequences of this Prestiani situation and Vinnie Jr. situation is too unsavoury to not do something about it.
Spot on, Stan. And as I always say, one hopes that nobody was racially abused, but in this situation, if something good, positive, and clearing the air can come out of it, then so much the better. My faith in UEFA finding the guts to do that is limited, but I hope to be proven absolutely wrong. And as for, as you say, lots of people, including Jose Mourinho, pointing out that Vinny Jr. is often at the centre of these things. He's the most high-profile black player in the world. People are probably just trying to get a proper rise out of him. And him having to report, as he has done in Spain on multiple occasions, these things happening to him, until an action that I'm not qualified to say what it should be is taken against one of the perpetrators, and I mean a footballer here, not crowds, not clubs, not 2 points deducted, against a footballer, this thing will go on, and it must be stopped.
Yeah, I was disappointed in Jose. I think he didn't do himself any good or any favours. It was a poor reaction from him, and he's been roundly condemned.
I think the thing is, Andy and Danny, the Mourinho, and I love Jose Mourinho, he's done a lot for the game, and we know he can be a prickly character at times. And it was immediately after a game. Again, tensions are high. A lot had happened. So I kind of understand it, that in that environment, people can say daft things, and they're for the grace of God, go all of us.
Any of us, yeah.
I think that the thing that annoyed me the most about the Mourinho comments, that people then obviously took as gaslighting, is bringing Eusebio's name into it. Our greatest ever player is Eusebio, he's black, therefore Benfica as a club will not ever do it. I just think it's a dopey thing to say.
For a man of great intellectual and emotional intelligence, it was dim. Absolutely dim, and probably an insult to the memory of a fantastic footballer and a great man in the form of Eusebio. Absolutely. Listen, we'll go from that to the surreal world of the Fools panel next, to which Stan will also be making a massive contribution. You're listening to Kelly and Jacobs. The show is flying by for me. I hope it's doing the same for you. It means you're enjoying it. Stick with us here on TalkSport.
The question from me to you, Simon, is how much can your image be diminished in 8 months? Now they're coming out, the woodwork. One source has told Telegraph Sport. Thomas Frank was constantly going on to the players about Arsenal, and they quickly get sick of it. Even before and after the game at the Emirates, he was telling them how good Arsenal were. The feeling among some was very much, just shut up about Arsenal. Elsewhere, reports suggest that after Spurs lost to Arsenal in November, Thomas Frank warned the squad about dropping standards. The next day, multiple players turned up late to training, including the captain, Romero.
And what does that say about the professionalism of people? Are you trotting that out for whoever's trotting that out? Isn't pouring necessarily a bad light just on Thomas Frank. He's pouring a bad light on the people themselves. The players. I don't know whether Thomas Frank is so unaware, so obtuse in his thinking that he would spend his entire time consumed speaking about Arsenal as their biggest rival in terms of using Arsenal in the conversations. Is he that stupid? He doesn't strike me as that sort of stupid.
No.
Players that come out and say things or use agents or media hounds to say things to, I have no respect for.
The fact of coffee at an Arsenal Cup, but I mean that was a mistake.
Yeah, and that's why they're perhaps steering into that opportunity. Has he been diminished? Of course he's been diminished. Life is not linear. Success isn't always a straight line. You go up and down, and most people have lots of failures in their lives. It's like an iceberg. All the failures are beneath the surface, and you only see the successes, and you judge people by the successes. He will have to rebuild a little bit. Now what's being considered is you're not capable of managing a big club. He's clearly capable of managing clubs. People are now going to go after him and say, well, actually, he can't have been doing that well, because look what Keith Andrews has done. Keith Andrews had his team that ripped apart, all the best players sold, and he's doing better than Thomas Frank did at Brentford.
Time now for one of the highlights of the week here on what's normally Hawksby and Jacobs. It is the Fools panel. Where, you know what it is. 5 different people try and predict the results of 3 big games, and there is.
Yeah, and I get them wrong.
Yes,
that's
fair to say.
how it works.
And Collymore still with us, representing the pros. I'm representing Paul. Ollie Klink from TalkSport is here as well, representing our commentators. The caller is Steve, the Palace fan. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi, Danny.
Thank you for joining us. We'll get onto you in just a second. And Andy is going last because he's currently bottom of the table, which currently runs, as you've heard there, Stan and the pros are winning. Scott Minto was on last week. Paul is second because of the contributions I've made over a period of a number of Fridays. Ollie Klink, the commentators are third. The callers are fourth. Steve, the Palace fan's going to improve that. And Andy languishes, if that's the correct word, in fifth place. Ollie, before we get started, we've got to be quick here, but you, of course, also helm the TalkSport Inside the Toon podcast platform, whatever it is. Are you all up for the new shirt design?
Oh, absolutely not. Look like a bunch of barcodes. Finally, that nickname's going to come true, isn't it?
It's awful,
It's a bit of a shame, that one, I think.
Black and white stripes regularly placed against each other. That's Newcastle's colours, isn't it?
Yeah, completely agree with you, Danny. Yeah, but it was a busy show, obviously talking about the big win against Karabag. We talked about penalty gate as well, whether Gordon or Voltemada should have taken the second penalty in that game. So, yeah, very busy show. It's on the TalkSport Newcastle YouTube channel.
Yes, very nice to be able to talk about a club that actually gets penalties. I suppose we're looking at Spurs in the North London derby will be looking for their first penalty of the season,
hey,
which I reply, get in the penalty area more often. You'll probably get more of them.
That's true.
All right, let's start then. Stan, me, Ollie, Steve, the Palace fan, and Andy will go. The first game is the big one on Saturday night. Manchester City against Newcastle can go a long way to putting pressure on Arsenal for the North London derby. Stan, how do you think this one will go?
Yeah, a couple of mini statets for you. City unbeaten in the last 21 at home against Newcastle United, so not a happy hunting ground even for a team in form that Newcastle are in. And they've won the last 6 at home against Newcastle United without conceding. Now, of course, I've got first-hand experience of Newcastle. I was up there, they were saying to Ollie, we won the other week up in the North East, and we lost the FA Cup game. Newcastle's form has gone from strength to strength, an absolute gubbing of Karabag. I think that they will score at the Etihad, but I think this is going to be relatively comfortable for Manchester City. Manchester City 3, Newcastle United 1.
For much the same reasons, and you'll hear when we do our charity bet later on. I'm pretty sure City will score plenty in this game, and they don't keep a million clean sheets, do they? So I'm going to go exactly the same, Stan. I think it'll be City 3, Newcastle 1. Ollie, you presumably are going to poo-poo such nonsense.
I'm going to have to go with heart over head, aren't I, Danny? I'm just praying that Omar Marmoush doesn't play. I'm going to have to hide behind the sofa. He's got 5 goals against us in the last 2 times we played at the Etihad. I'm so scarred with every visit that Newcastle make to that ground. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 just because they have picked up recently, Newcastle, and it would be a good result for Arsenal fans, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Excellent courage there, Ollie. Thank you very much. Steve, the Crystal Palace fan, who may or may not have a manager after the weekend, what do you think the score is going to be between City and Newcastle?
I think it's going to be an easy 3-0 to City. Manchester City.
Even more bullish. Thank you, Steve. And Andy, your chance now to pull back on those above you, which is, of course, everybody.
That's right.
What's your prediction?
I think it'll be 2-1. I think City will win. You've got to factor in the Karabag travel situation. It's a long journey, that. And even though they're boosted by a brilliant win, I think it might have an effect. So I'm going to
hilarious, isn't it? Everyone goes on about how poor Newcastle have been on their travels. Then they go on the furthest possible jaunt they could possibly do and absolutely play brilliantly. Let's then move on to of course, there's live commentary of that game here on TalkSport between Manchester City and Newcastle on Saturday night. On Sunday, it's the North London derby, Spurs against Arsenal. I love football, Stan. I love it. What do you think about this one, Stanley?
Spurs have lost the last 3 at home against Arsenal, but I watched that Arsenal wobble late on, and they haven't been playing well. There's no doubt about it. They do look as if they're a little bit clunky, a little bit unsure of themselves, particularly later on in games. New manager, Igor Tudor, of course. Who was the last Tottenham manager, very briefly, Danny, to his first game, Tottenham manager, first game against Arsenal?
I'm guessing it was I Love Football, Stan, I Love It. Was that Harry's first game?
No, it's Glenn Hoddle in the 2001 FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford.
Wow, okay.
But 1-1 is going to be my prediction.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Well, I'm very hopeful that Spurs can get something out of the game. Who knows? Tudor has 12 fit outfield players to choose from. So because I believe in Spursy, I'm going to go 3-3 in the game.
3-3?
Yeah, 3-3, yeah. Ollie, what do you think the score's going to be between North London's finest and Arsenal?
I feel like there is an unknown quantity because Igor Tudor has come in, but I just think Arsenal are going to have a bit too much, especially if they score first and early on. So I'm going to go, I'm afraid, Danny, for a 2-0 Arsenal win.
Clink. Okay. Steve.
That'll be my last appearance on here.
Steve, the much more sensible Palace fan, what do you make of the North London derby and the possible scoreline?
I think it'd be tighter than it would have been about a week ago. So I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal for that one.
Thank you very much indeed. And now, Andy, this is where we've got 2 draws and 2 away wins. What are you going for?
Look, it should be Arsenal, but I've got a feeling it's hard to quantify because he will galvanise the team. I'm going 2-2.
Thank you very, very much indeed. 1-1, 2-2, 3-3. People expect not 0-0. Nobody's expecting a 0-0.
No, I don't think so.
Then on Monday night, again live here on TalkSport, exclusive coverage of Everton against Manchester United. In its time, one of the biggest games in English football, and still, I say to you, Stanley, a big, big fixture, particularly in that wonderful new stadium floating out there on the water. What do you make the scoreline, Stan?
Give a couple of stats. Manchester United have 42 Premier League wins and 19 away wins against Everton. The best one team against another in the division history of the Premier League, not English football, top flight in its entirety. The Toffees have lost 5 of their last 9 at home, and Manchester United are unbeaten in their last 9. Everton 1, Manchester United 3.
Thank you very, very much indeed. I think... I take all that and I hear it. I think these night games are liable to be inspirational for the home crowd. So I'm not sure that United will have it all their own way. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Ollie, what do you think about this game in the northwest? Sorry.
I think that Manchester United might just sneak this one. It's just that home form for Everton that might let them down. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 Manchester United win.
Okay. Your scores are very low, Ollie. You're not expecting much entertainment this week. I suppose it's the experience of being a commentator, isn't it? Steve, the Palace fan. Steve, what are you? I don't think you've got much flesh in this game, but tell us who you think will win between Everton and Manchester United. What will the scoreline be?
I'm going the same as the Arsenal game, a 2-1 away win with that one.
Okay, thank you very, very much indeed. And finally, Andy.
The interesting thing here is that United don't have the advantage they've had under Carrick of playing teams that have played twice or played before them. Do you know what I mean? Everton are rested as well here. So I think it's going to be a tight old game. I think I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Stan, of course. Thank you, Ollie. You can hear him both on the podcast about Newcastle United Inside the Toon and commentating here and working here on TalkSport. And thank you, Steve, the Crystal Palace fan. In a word, Steve.
About Glasner,
In a word, Steve, do you think Oliver Glasner will still be there in 3 days' time?
Can we talk about the weather instead?
Okay, I take that. I'll take that as a no. Thank you very, very much indeed to Steve, the Palace fan. Thank you all for listening to us for the last 2 hours. Still an hour to go, including clips of the week, a special edition about newsreaders. Why wouldn't you stay with us here on the mighty, mighty TalkSport?
John Terry took to his own Instagram account to respond today. Let's hear what JT had to say.
Guys, this is a debate that everyone's entitled to their opinion to. But, Pens, when you're on the radio and you're giving your opinion, you have to get the stats right. There's only one person that's got the most goals as a defender in Premier League history, and that's me. I also have the most clean sheets in Premier League history. And also, if you're comparing myself and Virgil, then I have more trophies than him as well. Also, you brought up a really good point. At the age of 34, 2014-15, I played every single minute of every game for Chelsea, winning the league in 2014-15 when Mourinho was our manager. So, guys, this is over to you. I love the debate. I love being amongst it. I'm really proud of what I've done in the Premier League, but this is clearly over to you guys to settle the debate. But I'm just happy to be in and amongst it.
I mean, if you saw that, you'd see that. I mean, he could reply to that from his lounge.
Yeah.
Decided to reply to that in his museum, and rightly so.
Right, of course, right.
The backdrop was fantastic. So we thought we'd settle this once and for all. We've picked 5 legendary centre-backs via a vote in the Drive Time group chat from earlier on. Well done, producer Joe, for doing this. They are John Terry, Virgil van Dijk, Rio Ferdinand, Emmanuel Vidic, and Vincent Kompany.
Who's your 5 that you voted for, or do you not want to say that?
I think it was probably them. Yeah, it must have been them, right? Because I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Sol Campbell, yep, Tony Adams, good centre half.
They're just above them.
Yep.
We've also picked out 6 attributes which make up the perfect defender. Each player will be given a mark out of 5 for each one, meaning a maximum of 30 points. The player with the highest mark.
TalkSport Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
3 minutes past 3. Good afternoon. Here are your sports headlines. As Crystal Palace's greatest ever manager, Ollie Glasner, just waved the white flag.
I'm just not good enough to replace the players we sold. I'm just not good enough to integrate the new players in a way that we can play the same way like we did. And I'm not good enough that we can cope with the schedule we had.
It's fair to say Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor have very little sympathy.
This is not the first time he's sort of gone to war with a hierarchy, and it probably won't be the last, and that's why he won't get a top job.
When you're going back and finding out records of Crystal Palace in the Premier League and how many points they've got at this stage, like, come on. It wouldn't surprise me, Sam Crookie, if you went round his house and his bag's already packed.
We understand the club are considering their options and that Ferencváros' Robbie Keane could replace Glasner. Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola has confirmed Erling Haaland will be fit to face Newcastle in a bid to close the gap to Arsenal to just 2 points. He says he's not looking at the table yet.
I could not care less. It's 12 games. If you tell me this question, 2 games left, 3 games left, I will have your answer. It's the 4th time you ask me the same question, I will answer you. You should know me. So it's 12 games left. It's an eternity. So many things is going to happen.
And the winter.
That is the only truth I have.
Sorry about that. At the Winter Games, the Ukraine team will boycott the opening ceremony of next month's Winter Paralympics in protest at the decision to allow Russian athletes to compete under their flag. And as if Tottenham didn't need to catch any more strays, a Swedish politician used the club as an analogy for Sweden's economic struggles, claiming the government risks making Sweden Spursy. There's more at talksport.com.
TalkSport News.
Buckingham Palace faces a crisis after Andrew's arrest, and one of the co-founders of retail giant ASOS has died after falling from a balcony in Thailand. More from the news team at past.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Rain spreading from Northern Ireland and Western Scotland to all areas by this afternoon. Feeling milder though.
Paddy Power on TalkSport. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody, to Kelly and Jacobs. With me, Danny Kelly, and him, Andy Jacobs. Lots to get through in this hour, including a special clips of the week for you towards 4 o'clock. But first, join us for today's Bet Builder, which involves Manchester City against Newcastle tomorrow. That's live on TalkSport. And to help us with the Bet Builder, and our friends at Paddy Power. And welcome, as so often, to Fern Buckley, as we're looking forward to that game, I'll say, tomorrow night between City and Newcastle at the Etihad. It's live, of course, on TalkSport. Fern, please remind people of how the Bet Builder works, as if they don't already know.
Yeah, of course. Good afternoon, gents. Yes, so we all made some picks across different markets, added them together to get some overall value. Paddy Power have chucked a tenner on it, hoping we get it right, because if we do, it all goes to the Attitude Foundation. It's a charity bet and it helps out the LGBT community.
And we have improved, haven't we? We're not quite as bad. I think we went virtually the whole season last year before we got a winner, but I think we're
doing a lot better.
Slightly better this time. Okie dokie. Good.
Well, it may not be helped by my sort of haymakers of bets that open these things, and I'm going to start again here.
This is optimistic. This one.
No, I don't think so. I've already said it in the Fools panel. So my proportion of the bet, if that's the right word here, Fern, is that City will score 3 goals at least.
Danny, do you know what? You've got my backing, because doing the research, looking at it all, City have beaten Newcastle twice this year, including that 3-1 victory in the Carabao Cup semi-final early this month. Then you look at their last year, the same fixture, City won at home 4-0. Add to that, they've scored 3 or more goals against Newcastle in 6 of the last 11 meetings at the Etihad. So I think it's quite good for our bet builder. And so City to score over 3.
It's a little bit predictable, but, the fact that Newcastle scored 6 away from home on Wednesday night make you think they're going to score here. So I've gone both teams to score.
Yeah, definitely. It's a popular bet as well. Like you say, Newcastle have upped their form, haven't they, in terms of shooting recently? They've scored 11 goals in their last 3 games across all competitions. So both teams to score on Paddy Power. That's in at 1-2. So it's a safe bet, I think.
Okay, producer Sean has picked. There was some doubt about his fitness, but Erling Haaland is fit to play. And
the producer, no doubt about his fitness.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's gone for Erling Haaland to score any time.
Yeah, Guardiola's confirmed Haaland is fully fit for this match after missing the week with a few little issues. He's currently leading the league with 22 goals, but 29 goals he's scored in all competitions this season. He's going to get back with a bang, I think. That is in at 8-15.
Yeah, the people's pick is just straightforwardly City to win.
Yeah, Haaland back, their home form. The people think City are going to get that victory. 19,000 people, in fact, have this now, a bet builder this afternoon.
Wow.
And they're going to want to start closing the gap to Arsenal in the table. They're currently unbeaten in their last 12 home league matches this season. You've got to go all the way back to November to the last time they lost at home. So a City victory, that's in at 4-9.
And so, Fern, with those 4 definitely coming in, the pressure is on you not to spoil the charity bet. What is your contribution?
No pressure here. Andy's going to know. I love my card research. I feel like I know the refs on a first-term basis nowadays. But Thomas Bramall takes charge this game. Good old Tom. He's had a high card per game average this season. So across 21 matches, he's issued 78 yellow cards, 3 reds. So, yeah, when you look at the 2 teams in their January Cup meeting, they saw 8 yellow cards. I reckon over 2.5 is a breeze. It's going to happen, and that's in at 1-5.
Okay. What does that come to? Yeah, the whole thing.
All comes in at 3.5 to 1. So from a £10 bet, you can get a return of £44. And if we get it right, it all goes to the Attitude Foundation, who, like I say, help out the LGBT community. And it makes us look good as well, like we know what we're talking about.
Good stuff.
Well, Fern, I hope it all does come through. Thank you, as always, for joining us. That's Paddy Powell's bet builder for today. Maximum odds 1-5 per leg is 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on TalkSport. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
I mean, ever since TalkSport started this ridiculous policy of talking about sport all the time, there's been less space, Andy, for your nonsense. On this show in particular, there was a time when it was 45% of the entire show. But the management have clamped down. But I love your bits and pieces. What have you got for me today?
Well, I don't know if I've told you about my obsession with Clive Murray on Mastermind. The listeners know about this. But I've got this thing that Clive over-explains the subjects, the specialised subjects.
Yes.
And you just think, well, we know who this is, and, it's so obvious. So last night was I watched a bit of Celebrity Mastermind, a couple of weeks back it was, and it was Laura Davis on the playing career of Steven Gerrard. And Clive goes, the illustrious football career of the former Liverpool and England midfielder and captain. So not Steve Gerrard the plumber then.
No, not that Steve Gerrard.
Not that one. Whereas Toy Story, Clive didn't even bother. He just went, Toy Story, 1.5 minutes, start now. And I was thinking, what does that mean that Toy Story is more famous than Steven Gerrard and needs less explanation?
Or does it just mean that Clive knows more about Steven Gerrard than Toy Story and just wants to show off? I'm not sure which.
No.
Yeah, I mean, presenting those quiz shows, it looks like a piece of, doesn't it? But it must be difficult enough. So I'm giving him plenty of sort of.
Oh no, he's very good at it. I'm not.
Rope here, yeah.
No. I just think don't over-explain it. We all know that Steven Gerrard is. Well, maybe some people don't. I suppose.
What else have you got for us, Andy? If anything,
I have. What else have I got? I've got. This happened to me. I used to do this, but the actor Gregor Fisher, who's Rabsy Nesbitt, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at a party and he met Martin O'Neill and he asked Martin, he didn't recognise him, and he said to him, what do you do? And Martin O'Neill said, I'm a plumber. So Gregor Fisher tried to hide. He said, well, I've got a bit of a problem with such and such. He genuinely thought he was a plumber.
Oh.
And I used to do this because I'd go to a party and people would say, what do you do? And I'd say, well, TV producer. And people would say, well, what does a TV producer do? It was a bit like what is a if a doctor gets a sort of a medical request. So I decided I got sick of this. I would say the same thing. I'd say, I'm a plumber. Which was,
this is an all plumber edition of your bits and pieces, isn't it?
But of course, I don't look much like a plumber, really. I would have said.
No, if you could examine the milky white softness of your hands, they realise no manual work has ever been attempted.
Absolutely not. And,
I remember, sorry, just on that mistaken identity, I've told you before, but I was once at a very posh launch party for something or other. I can't remember. It's at a roof garden somewhere in Kensington, and this very, very posh and rather regal and attractive-looking middle-aged woman, I realised after about 20 minutes she was chatting me up. And I thought, OK, Dan, you're a fine figure for a man. Don't be so surprised. But I was a little bit deflated as the evening wore on. And I realised that she thought I was Stato Angus Loughran and was looking for racing tips.
Oh, no.
This is after I'd waved over several glasses of champagne for her. I realised that she thought I was Stato.
That's good. Probably not the most flattering thing. Somebody's put in a request. The producer's telling me, He loves the letters from Brian Limford of Pontifract.
Right.
Yes, a man who writes to the Star with no punctuation whatsoever. So I said I'd oblige him, but I've got to try and find one and see if I can find...
We should call this piece, by the way, Pontifract Takes, shouldn't we?
Oh, here we go. But he's writing about Match of the Day here. BBC Match of the Day viewership has dropped by 10%, 765 to 868 million viewers since Gary Lineker, in capital letters for no reason, left. But overall figs have held up, with viewers watching 8 million plus weeknight highlights averaging 1.52 million. Saturday MOD is on too late, seeing early Saturday evening satellite gold clips. BBC itself, with results and interviews too, all shooting itself in the foot, seeing late night MOD redundant for some viewers. Brian Limford of Pontifract. That's it. Yeah. That's exactly how he wrote it. I read it exactly how he did it. It's incredible, isn't it? No punctuation
without becoming too learned about it. It's very Joycean, isn't it? The way it's a stream of consciousness,
very much,
shall we say?
Very good.
And so is this show, because you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs on TalkSport in partnership with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
This season we've got the squad, but I'm not quite sure the quality of the front line is up to it. I don't rate Gyökeres. He's come in supposedly as the goal scorer we were hoping that we needed to get us over the line. He's not been that person. We signed Eze, who actually was on the verge of going to Tottenham. And with all due respect to Eze, he's talented, but he's more of a Tottenham player because he's an in-and-out player. He doesn't do it week in, week out. He's a streak-type player. He's not an Arsenal player. Madueke, he's a good understudy maybe for Saka, but he's not a first-teamer. He's great with all the tricks, but his final ball is not good enough. So I think that the problem is our front line. Is something not quite right with the front line insofar as we're not effective enough. We haven't got that killer instinct to go out and smash teams. Last night, you're 2-0 up, go out and smash them, put them to rest, and we haven't done that.
Well,
you cannot let Leeds...
Keith, I know you know your stuff. Who's your top goal scorer this season?
Good question, actually. I believe... I think it probably is Gyökeres, I think.
Gyökeres.
But that's irrelevant.
And he's coming in for it this morning.
Sorry?
He's coming in for it this morning.
Look, we got him thinking... We got a striker there who's got something like 98 goals in 100 appearances in Portugal. We thought this guy... And I think he actually thought he was going to come into this team and score a hatful of goals every week. He's had a bit of a humbling experience.
It boils down to this, Keith, and I know you know your stuff inside out. Are you nervous now, or are you thinking, nah, to hell with you all. We're going to march on and win.
And they're off.
Win a trip to Cheltenham, Alan Brazil style, on TalkSport.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I got all excited. I was listening to that music. Sorry. It's fancy joining TalkSport at the famous Cheltenham Festival for Gold Cup Day. Yes, we're giving away the ultimate hospitality experience for two on Friday, March the 13th. You'll get the full day of VIP treatment, a 4-course lunch, complimentary bar all day, celebrity tipsters and more. You'll be experiencing the races in the best way possible and you'll get to meet some of us. Here's how to enter.
Yeah, for your chance to win, just text the word WIN, WIN, to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can phone. Call 0343 418 7260. Lines close on the 27th of February this year at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. It's 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a TalkSport promotion. For full T's and C's are at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text NEXT to 83338. Do it now and good luck.
It text WIN, isn't it?
Yeah, win. I said win, didn't I?
I thought you said text next.
Oh,
am I going mad?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, text WIN, WIN, to 83338. Do it now and good luck.
You know what it is? That music's all wrong. It's show jumping music. That's not jump racing music. That's show jumping music.
No, it's not. Now, speaking of music, it's now time for Todd. Yeah, you could let it run on forever, couldn't you? But it's time, though, to go over to stateside for all the big stories breaking there. And our great friend Todd Macklin. Hi, Todd.
Hi, boys. Yeah, listen, I know the Winter Olympics is dominating, but spring training baseball starts today. So that music, very appropriate.
I bet the Canada cheating's a big story over there, isn't it?
Okay. Remember, Andy, it's an accusation by a team that was knocked out, right? It was sour grapes. But the curling, listen, we've got the women's curling semifinal right now. We're down to Sweden. And then the big one, I know you guys will be watching tomorrow, Great Britain, Canada men's curling. Don't you dare miss it.
Oh, well.
Don't touch the back of that rock with your finger. No way.
I might just watch the highlights. We'll see. Okay. Right.
In more globally accepted sports, with all due respect to the curling, the MLS has started in America, and this weekend sees a huge game. LAFC, we're complete with Son Heung-min. And into Miami with Lionel Messi. Big game, and you're expecting a huge crowd.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, you've got probably the two top teams as we look ahead to this MLS season, the defending champs, Miami. You know, no team has repeated in MLS since David Beckham's LA Galaxy back in 2012. So that's what Miami's chasing. They're chasing the Champions League in our part of the world, kind of success in that. And then Son, I mean, what did he play? Like 13 games last year, scored 12 goals. So I think LAFC is licking their chops to get him for a full season.
That's good.
Yeah, and of course, both are liable to star in the upcoming World Cup in that part of the world as well. Andy?
Yeah, no, I'm fascinated by the next story. It's all about what they call a nudity bet. And I know Mike Parry wants to do this. I think he threatened to swim the channel in the nude if something happened. But people often do it. They say, well, if they win the championship, I'll walk across the Southwark Bridge in the nude. But this actually has happened with a long-time NFL writer, John McClane.
Yeah, so if you remember the Houston Texans, they lost in the playoffs. They lost in New England. And C.J. Stroud, their quarterback, didn't play very well, right? 4 interceptions in that game. And there was a lot of talk after the game, basically, hey, Houston needs to move on from C.J. Stroud. He played poorly in the playoffs. And so John McClane, this longtime writer, basically said, listen, if they trade C.J. Stroud in the offseason, I'm going to walk naked in rush hour down one of the major streets in Houston. Now, just for some context, this is a guy back in 2014 that said if Houston didn't draft a quarterback in the first round of the draft, he would eat the front page of the newspaper.
Right.
Well, they didn't draft a quarterback. They drafted a defensive lineman, and he did eat the front page of the newspaper. So at least it's someone that will live up to their bets if they don't work out the way they planned.
Judging by the look of it, you could have the whole newspaper. But
Yeah, and also the four of us were walking naked down the street. Make a tremendous charity calendar, I think.
Oh, yes.
Todd, this one is breaking my heart a bit, because I know American sports fans don't set the same store as we do to what is home, but the idea that the Chicago Bears would not just leave Chicago, but the actual state of Illinois is painful to me, but that looks like what's going to happen.
Well, you know what it is right now? It's a lot of posturing, and it's the Bears trying to put pressure on the state of Illinois. So here's where we stand with the Bears. They've got Soldier Field. It's downtown Chicago. They have that lease to 2033. So that's the lease for Soldier Field. So the Bears have already bought a plot of land in the suburbs of Chicago, in Arlington. And what they're kind of waiting on the state to approve a bunch of financing for the stadium, for, you know, all the kind of infrastructure for the stadium. It's about $800 million. Well, the state seems to be taking their time with it. The Bears are frustrated with it. So they went to northern Indiana, which is about 25 minutes from where Soldier Field is. And they've kind of said, Indiana's kind of said, yeah, we'll give you this plot of land. We'll give you money for the new stadium. So I think it's more trying to put pressure on Illinois more than anything. Listen, I do not see the Bears leaving the state of Illinois. I just think they're trying to put some pressure.
Yeah, and Chicago is such a sports town, so they'd be bad if they didn't have an NFL team.
And it's also a horrible story. They've had their first decent team for a long, long time. But I mean, we see this all the time, Andy. American football clubs, NFL clubs in particular, blackmailing the local authorities into giving them a load of dough. Otherwise, they'll take their business elsewhere. All right.
And Danny, this is billionaire owners blackmailing the taxpayers, right? I think.
I should say you're right. You're right to make that point, Todd. In some ways, it's blinking disgraceful. It really is. Yeah. Okay. Finally, SPN analyst Pat McAfee has reportedly hired a Hollywood super agent who wants to make him the next Sylvester Stallone, following his TV success. Explain who Pat McAfee is and what this story is about, Todd.
Well, Pat McAfee's a former punter in the NFL, most significantly with the Indianapolis Colts. And he's become a pundit, and he's become probably one of the top, 3 sports pundits in probably North America at the moment. He's got a show, a regular afternoon show on ESPN, on YouTube. And so I guess when you reach a certain level of stardom in your one field, I guess they're looking at him as being an actor. I don't know how this would go, but I'm sure his agent thinks it's a great idea, right, to explore the possibility. Don't we still have a current Sylvester Stallone? And right? He's still acting in movies.
And as we saw with that film, The Irishman, you have a current Sylvester Stallone, and soon you'll have a CGI Sylvester Stallone, and an AI Sylvester Stallone, and a hologram Sylvester Stallone. You don't need a new Sylvester Stallone. I love the quote. I love the quote from the agent. The idea is to move Mr. McAfee away from, quote, just a guy with a microphone into a tough guy with a heart acting roles. Andy, could you do tough guy with a heart acting roles?
I am Britain's worst actor. I'm absolutely dire when any sketches or anything like that. Hopeless, like a block of wood.
Oh dear, that's very sad to hear. Todd, as always, absolutely brilliant to talk to you. Keep those great stories coming from across the Atlantic Ocean. Goodness, come the summer when he's got the World Cup as well. You'll be the busiest man in the world. Listen, thank you very much indeed. Todd Macklin joining us as he always does on a Friday here, almost normally Hawksby and Jacobs. Today is Kelly and Jacobs.
don't enjoy all what goes on. Of course I don't. Who does? I don't want to see none of that. I don't like all the ranting and raving. You know, John's obviously got a problem, him and Carl Froch, I don't know, you know, with the two of them, and it is what it is. But it's nothing to do with me. And I've got to be honest, you know, I have no regard for it. It's irrelevant to me. All I care about is what Tyson's doing and the fight. The rest of it's a sideshow.
You say that, Frank, but you are the promoter.
I'm not the promoter.
You're Tyson's promoter.
I'm Tyson's promoter, but I'm not the promoter of the event. It's a ring event. It's on, you know, I have an exclusive contract with DAZN. This fight's on, as you well know, it's on Netflix.
But if you're uncomfortable with it, Frank, might you not have a word with Tyson?
I don't understand. Sorry, but I'm not responsible for what people do or in their family members are in or are with them or whether that's down to them. It's nothing that I'm not responsible, nor would I take responsibility for that. You know, it's no different if one of your relations starts ranting and raving and screaming and shouting. It's not down to you.
If it were an event that you were a promoter of note on, say, for example, you make the fight between the winner of Dubois versus Wardley, and you see this sort of behaviour exhibiting itself, would you put a stop to it? Would you suggest that you'd exclude John from press conferences if he can't conduct himself in an appropriate fashion?
I'm quite sure if it was my event, John would show a lot of respect for it.
A draw in the Conference League has put pressure on Oliver Glasner as they extend their poor run of form with one win in 15. But Gabia Bonglahor thinks the criticism's unfair.
I think he's got some credit in the bank for me. Be careful what you wish for, what that manager has done for that club. Everyone's saying he's the best ever Crystal Palace manager. All of a sudden now, oh no, he's ruined his legacy at the club.
Morgan Gibbs-White says Forest have bought into what Vita Pereira wants straight away. Alex Crooks described the performance as night and day compared to what we've seen in recent games.
The Nottingham Forest players have been mugging off their supporters with their recent performances, you know, because where was that energy and that willingness to run for the cause in the last few games of the Sean Dijk era?
Elsewhere, Martin O'Neill reckons Celtic's lack of spending power is holding them back from progressing in Europe.
The money in the game is major. You're talking about Premier League teams and Bundesliga sides, particularly Premier League teams paying £80 million for players don't even get into the team.
Now, Norwich City have agreed to sell Josh Sargent to Toronto FC for an MLS record transfer fee. TalkSport understands it's north of $20 million, which would make him the second highest paid player in the league behind Lionel Messi. And as if Tottenham didn't need to catch any more strays, a Swedish politician used the club as an analogy for Sweden's economic struggles, claiming that the government risks making Sweden Spursy.
The week on TalkSport with Toolstation. Next stop, Toolstation.
TalkSport clips of the week.
Okay, I jumped in there and started talking when no one was listening to me. I'm looking forward to the last 2.5 hours. It's Clips of the Week, and as always, as is traditional, when Paul isn't here, we do a Clips of the Week special. And this week, it's a whole plethora, if that's the right word for you, of newsreaders saying fun stuff here on TalkSport. First up, we kick off with Max Scott, who goes a bit sporty in the news.
Former Commons leader Lucy Powell has entered the race to replace Big Angela Rayner as Labour deputy leader.
Big Angela Rayner.
Yeah, Big Ange.
That's probably how it came about, actually.
Yeah, I imagine so, yeah.
Now, we didn't realise that former Leicester City manager Claudio Ranieri was a big cricket fan.
Claudio Ranieri believes it's 2 points dropped, but says he'll take the drop.
I think it was a good day to bowl. The wicket just offered a little bit off the seam and in the air.
Yeah, isn't he? Tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a good way. He's improved his English accent no end there, hasn't he? Yes. Craig Wakeling here, struggling with the name of the Manchester City boss.
Hart was on loan at West Ham last season, and Pep boss Guardiola says nothing's been decided yet.
Good old Pep boss Guardiola.
Yeah, very good.
His name and his job all in one thing. Anyway, we love transfer scoops in the bulletins, but this update on Neil Lennon's relations was, shall we say, a little too close for comfort.
Neil Lennon insists new signing David Turnbull chose Celtic over Norwich for footballing reasons and not cash.
I'm glad he insisted. Not
yeah,
the other thing.
He did, absolutely. Meanwhile, James Lure is here with some unexpected cricket news.
The defender has rejoined the club after he was released by Everton. And David Gower has told TalkSport he believes England are peaking at the right time.
Good old David Gower.
Yeah, well, I mean, talk about Freudian slip. Fantastic.
Exactly. It's not all laughs, though. Colin Beasley brings us some deeply emotional news from Old Trafford.
Manchester United had to settle for a 3-3 draw after coming from 2-0 down to lead 3-2 before Sheffield United's 90th minute equaliser.
Oh no.
Okay, this is newsreader Rob Malarkey, not happy with extra time presenter Paul Ross's handover.
We're also previewing game day, loads to get through, so why am I yakking? Let's get the news headlines right now. Here he is, Ross Powell.
Good morning, I'm Rob Malarkey.
He's quite annoyed, isn't he? He's got his name wrong. He's not happy.
It could happen to anybody, Paul. It could happen to anybody.
Sinead Garvan here with a special mention of Mick Jagger when talking about former Spurs boss Ange Postecoglou.
Ten Hag says Manchester United aren't ready for their Premier League opener against Fulham, and Ange Postecoglou says Yves Bissouma has a chance at redemption.
Angie! Yeah, good old Angie.
Now something slightly wrong with Nick Ellaby's tenses here over former Manchester United winger.
And Man United winger Anthony says he's not going to stop doing what got me to where he is today.
What?
Yeah, exactly. He's not. No way is he going to stop that. No way.
No chance. Here's Alan Brazil with some background editorial input during our bulletins.
Good morning. Prisoners could cut their jail time by earning credit for good behaviour.
Oh, for God.
And chaos in the streets of Hadley in Suffolk as two runaway emus have been causing trouble. They've chased children down a street and were spotted near a football stadium. A spokeswoman from Bayberg District Council said this is no laughing matter.
You're joking.
Talk Sport.
Oh, no!
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I know. We have to be very, very respectful to our news colleagues, as this whole section is proving.
Oh, yes.
Back to Craig Wakeling again, who's unsure about who's hosting the sports bar.
Keep your calls coming in on 03717 223344. But let's get news and sport headlines now with Craig Wakeling.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, the EFL.
Thank you, Jakeson. So was either Jamie or Jason. He wasn't quite sure. Anyway, it wouldn't be a newsreader clip special without our star performer, Emma Cohen. And here she is getting herself into a right old muddle.
Talk Sport.
It looks like Brian and Bombos prioritising a move to Manchester United.
Brian and Bombos. We love him.
That is a tricky name, and they should practice that.
Yeah, but it's not Bombos, is it?
No, it's really not. No, it's not.
Okay.
And finally, we go back to Sinead Garvan, who got trapped in a tongue twister about Wayne Rooney.
Birmingham City owner Tom Brady has questioned Wayne Rooney's work ethic.
Wayne Rooney worth ethic.
Yeah, but
we all do it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's and it reminded me as well that one of the real traps on radio is, of course, your newsreaders come and go out of the studio. When the days when I used to work in the studio, and you're friends with them and you're convivial, and I used to, introduce them with a certain degree of bonhomie. And particularly people like Robin Schernhoff, who are only too keen to get involved with it. And of course, they would join in, and you'd be having the crack about something, and then the news thing would go, and she would immediately go into how many people have been killed in a pile-up on the M4,
Terrible.
and you're just staring at them from across the studio, going, "Why didn't you tell me?" So I've learned not to be too frivolous before you go to the newsreader, because invariably somebody's ploughed into the back of a truck on a motorway. But
I'm laughing at that. But still.
Oh no! Oh look, Andy, and of course most of those are people tripping over people's names. It happens all the time. I approach the most famous manager in world football, Pep. I approach his surname with something heading towards terror, because I tend to say Guardiola, and people tell me that Guardiola is not his name. How do we pronounce his name?
Guardiola.
Yeah, whereas I stick the U in Guardiola
or Boss Guardiola to give him his proper full title.
Yeah, I can see there are other ways around it. Indeed. Give us now. Have you still got enough of those things where you give me a number between 1 and 100?
Yes, you can have one of those. Go on.
Yeah. All right.
Anything
I'm gonna pick 23.
Oh, good. It's quite exciting, isn't it? Oh, 23.
Yeah.
Men's largest fear is flab. British men have revealed...
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know, exactly. A flabby body and going bald. Oh, my God. A poll of 2,000 men found that 75% admitted being insecure about their looks. The study by the health platform Hims found that 30% of men worried they had a soft and flabby dad bod, while 29% fretted over a receding hairline. And so there you go. I mean...
Yeah, I won't give them the dignity of a name, but somebody's just... X'd me, twittered me to tell me how awful I look on YouTube. Mate, if you want to see the good stuff, it's over on OnlyFans, but you have to pay for that. It's a completely different thing. 64, Andy.
People. 64. People are incredible, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I know.
I mean, and of course, the point is, I may not qualify for being hung in the National Gallery, but the person giving me jip is hiding behind a picture of Don, of somebody very, very handsome. I won't say it because you just look them up.
It's a Reader's Trousers offer, number 64.
Oh.
So it says, stay one step ahead with the finest trousers brought to you exclusively by Chums, Britain's trouser specialists. Packed with premium features like the internal waist bearer, providing additional closure to help the front lay flat and preventing the fly from gaping over. Well, thank goodness for that.
Wow.
That's what I like in a pair of trousers, a nice gaping fly. And it says here, we know you'll love these trousers and keep coming back for more. I don't know how many trousers I tend to buy a pair of trousers about every 2 years.
I find myself watching television channels, Andy, where clearly the algorithm has got around that I may not be in the first flush of youth, and I see the products they're advertising towards older people. Forget about all the ones about funeral planning and all the rest of it. But, walk-in baths, special slippers that you do up with zips up the front and all the rest of it. And I have to tell advertising people, and of course I know that my day may come for all this, I sit there and I go, this is aimed specifically at me. And yet these products, not only do I not desire them, I absolutely abhor them. Except, of course, for the one with that thing where you put your feet on a plate and it bounces up and down, because that just looks like you're doing the moguls in the Winter Olympics without having to go.
Oh yes, I shouldn't give it its name really.
Without having to go to somewhere cold and snowy. Listen, thank you very much indeed for all of that stuff. And to all our newsreading colleagues, of course, we absolutely accept that Andy and I've just done the official count, because TalkSport keeps this stuff on the dark web. We have mispronounced people's names over the past 30 years over 3.5 million times. So we're not having a pop at you.
No.
Meanwhile, back to the press conferences as the Premier League managers are getting their views across to the great and the good of the press and wider audience as we head into yet another Premier League weekend. That's next here as we head towards the finishing line in Kelly and Jacobs.
I'll tell you why I'm not worried. Because if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, major, then it has to go. All right?
No, I disagree with that.
No, well, you would, wouldn't you? But we don't sack managers every other week.
But you can't sack
right?
a manager who gets to the latter stages of every competition. You can't. You can't.
You can, mate. When the pattern emerges.
You can sack them.
The
you
pattern
sack him?
emerges. Chelsea did it.
It depends what they do.
They won things.
John,
okay, here's a question. Would you sack Arteta if they finish second in
well, what happens in the
Premier
Champions League?
They lose in the final.
What happens in the Carabao Cup?
Lose in the final.
FA Cup?
Lose in the final.
No, mate, he's got to go. You can't.
You're gonna sack him.
You can't get
It's
to
the
three
four finals.
You can't get to three finals and finish second. You can't. That to me tells that is all the evidence. That, no, you well done. It's a little bit like what Claudio Ranieri done at Chelsea. Chelsea he finished second that season. We beat Arsenal in the semi-final, quarter-final of the Champions League. Got beat by Monaco. Jose comes in. We've gone from second to the quarter-finals to almost winning. We won the title, won the Carabao Cup. Arteta might just be that man. He might be the nearly man. He might be the man, but he might be the nearly man. If he's the nearly man,
well, you'd sack him. You've got to be careful what you wish for, Jake. He's built this team for him.
I'm not saying
built this team. And if they don't win it this season, or they finish second and they miss the cup finals, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think you can sack Arteta. I don't, mate.
I think you can.
Come from where they.
The Premier League. What happens next? Haaland edge in the area, shoots early! 3-0!
Twists and turns in the title race, that is for sure.
And he's on a hat-trick, Anthony Gordon, and there it is!
The relegation battle is going to be interesting.
In towards Somerville, with a header beyond the goalkeeper and in, and West Ham United lead. In the Gruev, who does curve one in, and Calvert-Lewin throws himself at it.
Hit by Anderson, and it's in! What a start for Nottingham Forest!
The race for European places is hotting up.
Rodgers in the area, low shot into the net, 2-0 to Aston Villa.
Fernandes, and now it's in Burma to finish it, he does! Pedro in the box, João Pedro equalises! You're back in and it's in, Liverpool have the lead. Virgil van Dijk, Lewis Potter, he doesn't miss this header, equaliser for Brentford.
These scripts that we've seen so many times in teams that are under pressure.
This North London derby always delivers. Solanke with a brilliant header.
Saka got a touch and heads it beyond the goalkeeper.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah, we really are down to the business end of the season now. The road meets the rubber. And of course, their managers have been pressed at their press conferences about all kinds of issues. And we've got some of the highlights for you here in the next few minutes as we head towards our own destination on Kelly and Jacobs. Let's start with, I think, the most extraordinary press conference of the day, which saw Oliver Glasner's tenure as Crystal Palace manager put in serious doubt after the club's poor run of form. He was asked about his future at the club.
Oh, let's see. I always said, and this was, I think, the first press conference that where I can just repeat myself, And as I said, as a manager, you always depend on your players, and they will get all the support, like always, and then we will see.
Do you still want to be here until the end of the season?
Oh, let's see what the future brings. We never know.
God. That's not very. I mean, that's a poor answer, isn't it? Really, I mean.
Well, it's an answer. It's an answer that answers the question. But
Guardiola commenting on the Premier League title race as it becomes increasingly tight.
I could not care less. It's 12 games. If you tell me this question, 2 games left, 3 games left, I will have your answer. It's the 4th time you ask me the same question, I will answer you. You should know me. So it's 12 games left. It's an eternity. So many things is going to happen. That is the only truth I have.
It is. He's right. It is virtually a third of the season. Think about 38 games, so.
Yeah, and he's also avoiding putting any additional pressure on his own team. They've already got quite enough to try and catch up that gap with Arsenal. And it's the aforementioned Arsenal. Their boss, Mikel Arteta, sees the upcoming North London derby against Spurs on Sunday as a prime chance for the Gunners to recover their form following a difficult spell.
It's the one we have after, and it's the one that we cannot wait to play. If we could play today, I think we'd all love to play today to get that feeling that we have in our tummies and use it in the right way. And we'll have to show on Sunday. Well, I think it's happened 7 times already to us this season, so we are getting used to it. We have analyzed everything that he's done in his career in different clubs, different formations, the players that they have available, and from there, of course, we will have the capacity to adapt in relation to what the game requires, but the main focus as well is on what we have to do to win.
It's amazing. He called for Arsenal fans, this is the quote, love me after I draw and I lose, not just when the side is winning. Yeah, it's a big ask, isn't it? Football fans don't tend to do that.
I'm not sure I join in the chorus for how unlovable he is, but a lot of people do find him quite a tricky customer to deal with. Let's hear though. Oh no, sorry. It's you next, Andy. I beg your pardon.
It's okay. Let's hear from Chelsea head coach Liam Rosenior, who gave us a fitness update regarding Cole Palmer and Reece James.
I've been asked that question a few times since I've been in. It's a really hypothetical question. It's based on day by day. How not just those 2 players, how each player feels. At the moment, they're both fully fit. They're both available for selection. They both trained really, really well today. And with those 2 players in your team, it makes you a really, really strong team.
That's true.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cole's long-term injury and Reece James's injury record means that he and Thomas Tuchel will be asked these questions repeatedly over and over and over again. Well, only thing we know, Andy, and you know it better than me, is that when they are fit, they are 2 of the best players in England.
Yeah, and I feel Cole Palmer coming back to his best. I do.
You do feel it, do you?
Yeah,
you can see it, yeah?
Yeah, you can definitely see the signs, and he had a nice break. He was able to get away with the sun, so that was good. Is it you or is it me?
It's me.
Okay.
Michael Carrick faced the media ahead of United's first trip to Everton's new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium. That's live on TalkSport on Monday night. He was asked if he feels that Sir Jim Radcliffe's comments undermined unity at the club.
Got a really strong group, whether that's the players in around the dressing room and the staff and certainly around the club and outside of the club, but certainly within the club. I think we're in constant communication anyway. We're here to support each other and help each other in whatever way we can. So the boys have been in really good spirits this week in terms of training. We've had some time away, so I think that was important for a refresh and a bit of a deep breath of everything, for the short time we've kind of been together to digest everything and then come back and focusing on what's next. So we're looking forward to the next game at this stage. But yeah, obviously we're here to help each other, support each other in any way we possibly can.
What a brilliant non-answer that was. He should be a politician,
I know,
shouldn't he? Such a tricky question.
What a spot that Radcliffe had put him in. I mean, let's be honest about that.
He did well there, actually, I think.
Well, what he did, he talked for long enough that the original questioner forgot what he asked.
Exactly.
Yeah? Gerrymandered that. Well, no, filibustered it, not gerrymandered it. Go on.
Let's hear from Newcastle defender Dan Burn, who's been speaking to TalkSport. He was asked if they can still reach their targets for the season.
I still think we're in reach of our target. We said we wanted to get back-to-back Champions League seasons, so it would be the first time that the team's done it in the history of Newcastle, so that was our target, and we still believe we can get there. Don't get us wrong, we're going to have to go on a pretty good run. Now we were fighting on sort of 4 fronts till a few weeks ago, so we're really going to have to focus and pick up results, but it's still possible, so until it's not possible, that is the target.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's unlikely, I think, at this stage. But you never know. You know, any team that puts together sort of 8 to 10 wins in a row will push forward. So, this stage.
Yeah, but in the league is inconsistent this season. 8 to 10 wins in a row is just not going to happen, is it? Let's be truthful.
Incredibly difficult.
And at some stage, Newcastle may shift their focus following that fantastic win out in Baku. They may shift their focus onto that European trophy. Okay, and you can hear that interview with Dan Burn in full on Weekend Sports Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. with Shabana Hearn and Tony Cascarino, which, Andy, almost finishes our business together today, except I suppose we should have a quick, whether you like it or not, the big match of the weekend is the North London Derby, and it's so difficult for me to get my feelings across about this because, Arsenal are clearly one of the best teams in Europe just now, and yet Spurs have got to try and get something out of the game. They simply can't afford to, quote, toss games off because they're so near the relegation zone. But there's no point in Spurs fans complaining about Arsenal and how they play and all the rest or whatever they're doing, because we only get 2 chances a season in which to influence Arsenal's fate, the 2 games we play against them. And having not turned up for the first one, and I think that's putting it mildly, listeners to my podcast, or the podcast that I do with it on The Athletic, will know that I would have sacked Thomas Frank seriously at half-time in the game at the other end of the Seven Sisters Road.
Really?
Yes, I would, because I knew the thing was going to fail when you see what they put together as a performance in a game that, at least for the fans, still has extraordinary significance. And that's what I'm kind of... I don't know. I'll ask you very quickly. A whole new coaching team. They've had 5 days in the case of the manager and 3 and 2 in case of some of the new coaches to try and influence the team. Can Spurs in any way bridge the gap that clearly exists between 2 sides, the 11s at the moment?
I think they can. If there's ever a good time to play Arsenal, I'd say it's now. Their form isn't great. They weren't great against Wolves, but it's a different thing in the North London Derby. It's just a whole different thing. And it also depends on other results. I mean, West Ham got Bournemouth at 5:30 tomorrow. If West Ham win that game, that puts a lot of pressure on Tottenham. So, same with Leeds. Although I can't see Leeds getting much at Villa, but, we'll wait and see.
No. It's that West Ham-Bournemouth game that will be the critical one there, isn't it? Listen, Andy, it's been a joy to work with you again. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Yeah,
and all of you, and maybe, Andy, you're coming to Ireland in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe we'll have a little meet-up and enjoy a cup of tea together. That might be very nice indeed. Thank you, of course, to Andy. And Paul will be back on Monday, no doubt. I'll be back Sunday at 9 o'clock for Trans-Europe Express here on TalkSport. Now, though, it's time for Drive with Andy Goldstein and Stuart Pearce. God bless you all. Good afternoon.
Just unbelievable how things have changed so dramatically just from like a 190-minute game where Arsenal really...
but it's not one 90-minute game, though.
No, it's not.
It's been a few weeks now.
No, you're right. But if Arsenal win that 2-0